The other end of Main Street is quite bustling.
I would like to give you.
Should she sit here or no?
Amazing.
My wife would like one of these in the backyard.
No, no.
Yeah.
They're not as long as
Mr. Finneran, I tried to call you today to tell you about the change of location, but you don't have
no,
a...
I was all over it.
Okay, good. Because I couldn't find a phone number for you anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm being silly.
I check the board every Thursday.
All right, so
As
you-
a habit.
So you knew. Good. Well, should we start? We've got a lot to do tonight, and Virginia knows we're here, and she'll get here momentarily, but let's just ask before we start, has everybody got a copy of the request for proposals done up by Ray Jack? He brought some, and you might have printed yours off.
I think
You have one? Okay.
I printed out part of it.
I just printed out the
Okay.
scope of services.
Well,
I
well, you
assumed
can-
we wouldn't be talking about the boilerplate.
Hey, you can have the whole thing, we have them.
got one. Want one?
Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting of the Water Quality Management Committee to order. And first thing I'd offer is to be able to move to number 2 and hold number 1 for a bit, because we do have Ray Jack here, and number 2 is quite likely to take less time than number 1. Hearing no objection, we'll start with Ray Jack presenting his request for proposals draft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What you have before you is a request for proposal for engineering services for wastewater issues, both design and nutrient related. It really has 3 overall tasks. The first task being to identify and define the areas of the Little Pond watershed, and then to be able to design 30% the sewer system collection area, along with any associated lift stations, evaluate the current treatment plant located in West Falmouth for any possible upgrades that would be necessary to accommodate whatever the proposed flow is, make recommendations on that, and that too comes from 30% design. Then task number 2 relates to being able to determine costs for widening the inlets, specifically Bourne's Pond, and also includes a review of any of the other RFPs that are currently going out that are wastewater related, to be able to review them and evaluate their cost proposals in order that the committee will have essentially a value engineering judgment, if you will, on whatever those results are going to be. And that presumes that they're going to be available during the course of this particular term, and I think most of this is expected to be done by the end of this year, December of 2012. And then the third component is the development and preparation for an SRF application on behalf of the town, because that has to get going rather quickly in order to be able to get on the list for SRF funding, because it takes a fair amount of time and it is very, very competitive. So those are essentially the 3 tasks. The evaluation criteria is not something that you necessarily put in one place as much as it is throughout the RFP. And the various scope of services will determine what that particular firm will have to report back with in order for the evaluation team to be able to successfully complete that evaluation. So if there were any questions on what you have before you, any of the specific tasks or overall, I'd be happy to answer them.
Right.
First, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. This is a great document to have, and to have this scoped out. And I'm also glad to see that the scope of work is a bit broader than we originally thought. So I think it's good that you added the inlet widening and the reactor barrier components. I was also wondering, in terms, since it is also engineering related, whether it would be worthwhile to consider doing at least a study, or that they would do a study of on-site denitrifying systems, either at the household or the cluster level, that would, that could also be viable in the project area or elsewhere, the specific area or elsewhere.
That actually is included in there. There's task 1.
Oh.
For
Under
the
task 2, supplement.
Well, it's actually under task 1 for the evaluation of the collection system for the Little Pond sewer shed area.
Uh-huh.
They need to evaluate the various technologies in order to determine what type of collection system or what type of treatment system it is going to be. So that's actually included under that.
Okay, okay, good. I didn't see it specified, but I guess it's...
Should we make it explicit in the systems?
I don't think it's necessary. What you really want, and I guess maybe I should go over an RFQ versus an IFB versus an RFP, all right? Love all the acronyms. But there are different laws that come into play, and it's rather complex. And a lot of times even the terms get thrown out there, and people don't necessarily fully understand what the meanings are of each. When you're dealing with something that you're not quite sure what you want to do, and it's building related or construction related. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have a aging police station and it's 45 years old. You know you can rehabilitate it. You might want to expand it. It's already undersized and has physical problems. Do you do that? Do you build a new one? Do you relocate it somewhere else? Well, in doing all that, you just don't want an architect, all right? You want someone who is capable of doing the whole project. So you don't know what it is that you want to do, so you go to an RFQ where you would be determining the qualifications of a firm, and then that firm will do an evaluation and make recommendations as to what should happen, and theoretically should be capable of carrying that project forward, whether it's a complete rebuild and or a retrofit. When you do know what you want, which is the case here, all right, there are some very specific things and some that are not so specific. That's when you go to an RFP, and now, let me go back to an IFB for a minute. I explained an RFQ. An information for bid, you want to sell a case of ketchup, and so you put that in the bid package, and you describe it's got 24 bottles and how much it is and what have you. You're only going to get one thing back when you put that on the street, a number. They're going to give you a cost, and that's it. And you are required by law to take the lowest responsible and eligible bidder. So in that case, there are no options, there is no evaluation, and they're not giving you anything else other than how much they're going to pay you for that, or how much they are going to charge you for whatever service it is that you're looking for. So when you go to an RFP, in this case, you're giving them a set of circumstances, and each firm is going to take a look at that in depth. We provided a list of various projects and reports and forms and maps that are going to be made available to them that they can evaluate in order to try to best determine what they can do for us. And so they literally will be coming back with a very large and comprehensive proposal that's going to include a multitude of options. So therefore, you don't want to necessarily try to get too specific. So there are times when you want to be specific, times when you want to be more broad. And what we attempted to do with this particular RFP is to give the town and the committee flexibility, some specificity, but yet at the same time be able to be flexible so that when they do come back, they may give you something as far as an idea you hadn't even thought of yet. And you want to have the ability to include that as part of the evaluation. So the more specific you get, the more specific your response is going to be, but the less flexible.
Well, I appreciate that, but when we're talking here, the sizing of pump stations, that's pretty specific. And, gravity and force mains, flow rates, retention times, these are very specific requests, technical evaluations that need to be done. So I'm just wondering if it's just something that is, under this, the task 2, you would have, you would, as you have those other 2 items included, what we'd like to get really on those types of other systems, the nitrifying systems, is really the experience on the Cape, what's happening, how effective, how well they work, this kind of thing, and what applicability they may have in town. It's not, saying we need a 120 amp unit put in somewhere, but it's more, or how many amps, but basically that kind of evaluation would be great.
And that is very specific. And you can do that. You can be very, very specific across a number of fronts, and there's a dollar value attached to that. So those studies can be done, absolutely. And you can put them in there up front, but it is going to increase the overall cost of what that ultimate proposal is going to be. you will have the ability, and especially the way this one is written, where for them to evaluate various alternatives within the sewer service area, when they're defining that area and doing that evaluation, you have the opportunity at that time to expand that or whatever it is that you want to do within limits, and you'll be able to have that discussion with them.
On the top of page 0220-3, and that's exactly where Mr. Jack is saying confirm the boundaries of the Lower Little Pond sewer service area. In that determines are there going to be areas that aren't going to be sewered and for what reasons. And I think we also have a study that George Hoyfelder is doing.
Jerry, we don't have an 022.
022, 220-3.
Please. Yeah, it's,
We don't have an
We don't
022.
have-
yeah, we do.
022.
I have it.
-3.
I see it.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Unless I have an older
Wait.
version.
What if I
Maybe
get
I'll take it. Let's take mine for a moment.
If you have task one, it's the second bullet. I don't know about the pagination.
Oh, not the page number, section 0200, requirements of respondents?
The page numbers are different on some of these.
Yeah, that we had
Oh,
trouble, I had
This is
trouble with
different-
pagination.
Different
so-
page numbers, right.
Well,
okay.
it may be,
So,
it may be a little more helpful
This
too
is-
to go down a
this is
little bit
text
further on
version.
task
This
one
is
there,
what I'm saying is
Gotcha.
where it says preliminary design
Our-
of Lower Little Pond project area, wastewater collection and transmission system. Evaluate the types of sewer collection systems, gravity, step, steg, vacuum, low pressure, etc.
Right.
So it is evaluating the various types of systems that are available.
But that,
PRBs,
that's
PRBs.
collection, not
So it's the same text.
Same thing, it's
denitrification.
just different
I'm
numbers.
sorry?
Collection systems do not include denitrification systems.
And it necessarily wouldn't in defining a sewer system collection area. And I think you might be talking about two different things here, all right? There's going to be a sewer service area. And then beyond that is likely going to be another area. Not likely, there will be another area. And that is for the future.
Well, and George Hoyfelder, is coming in with that evaluation of performance standards for on-site systems, if I remember correctly. Isn't he doing his white paper?
Updating the current, or what we had before, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, on what systems achieve what performance standards.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Steve?
I'm just confused, because Ron was saying, shouldn't there be provision for this contractor to do some studies for us of denitrification systems? And I said I saw that under task 2, and I still do. And you said it's under supplemental under task 2 in connection with Oyster Pond. And you said it was under task 1, and I still don't see it
Well-
there. And my question, what I was going to ask is under task 2 with Oyster Pond, to make sure that we don't have a duplication of effort with the Oyster Pond RFP. Because we're asking them to do very similar things.
I don't understand the duplication.
Yeah, I don't, and this is not a duplication. This is to
Right.
review the information that is developed by that engineering company for
Right.
Oyster Pond.
Yeah,
To review the information that an engineering company may be developing about permeable reactive barriers. To review the information that may be coming from an engineering company on eco-toilets or anything else on denitrifying. The point of this request for proposals, primary task 1, is to look in detail to 30% design at the sewering for Little Pond.
Right.
But it also includes, or at least the company has to have the capability of being able to review these other pieces of information that are also being developed, and they're all more or less moving, we hope, at the same time, and will come together at the April town meeting.
So you're looking at it as sort of a second opinion.
A second opinion, yes, and you might say this is our umbrella engineering company, that it is to have enough scope or enough latitude to understand that they have latitude to help this committee, help the Board of Selectmen prepare whatever information on any of those topics that may be needed for town meeting.
Thank you.
Steve?
I want to jump into this discussion, if I can, Ron, about the denitrifying stuff. If you go to Article 17 and the way budgets were sort of laid out there in Article 17, the evaluation and review of denitrifying septic components falls under item 6 of that article, which is the composting, packaging, and urine diverting toilet and denitrifying septic component. What's in front of us tonight is the scope of work for for the engineering task, which talks about preliminary design for sewers using the West Falmouth plant. So sort of making a focus of this, specifically in words to look at denitrifying systems, is a little bit disingenuous because it's not where it was falling out. That really should be falling out under the eco-toilet group.
Right.
Okay?
But turn the page over. No, the green page, turn it over and look, and you'll see permeable reactive barriers, and you'll see under another line item, and you'll see the inlet widening on another line item. And those are included in here.
No, what's included in here, if you want to, I mean, we could take it out if it's really bothering you. This is, as Virginia explained, it's peer review. Somebody else is going to do an engineering evaluation,
Yes,
if you will, of permeable reactive barriers.
right.
Then it's going to come in front of this committee from an engineer. When this predecessor committee existed, we reached a point about what I would call the cluster systems, where we said, perhaps rather than just relying upon what we've got from the engineer in front of us, because there was some disagreement over whether or not that was completely representative of what we needed to evaluate, we reached out and got an independent firm to look at that. So part of, I think, this scope, as I read it, was not for these folks to be doing that evaluation, but to be available as an engineer to conduct, in essence, a peer review of the work done by others to see if it met engineering standards.
That's a supplemental task.
But not to be doing the evaluation of permeable reactive barriers.
No, I agree with that. Well, I mean, it says review and refine cost estimates for various water quality management projects by December 2012. That's what it says. And what I'm saying is that if it's the case for the denitrifying things, then they could just add that as a task to do the same kind of review and cost estimate.
I'm confused because that is under task 2, so you just have to turn the page.
No, that's that's just for, the way I read that, that's only for the Oyster Pond watershed.
So you're suggesting the main focus of this engineering, one of the focuses of this engineering study?
It's got its
Second
separate
bullet.
bullet.
Second
But Ron,
bullet.
you're suggesting that a clear, defined focus of this engineering study should be that the engineer that's hired does an evaluation of on-site denitrifying septic systems for the Little Pond area.
It's right here.
Is that correct?
Okay, this is task 2, and it was da-da-da-da, you turn the page, and here's
Okay.
supplemental
I see,
task,
okay.
separate bullet, specifically mentioning on-site denit.
Okay.
Okay?
Right, not connecting it to.
Okay, all right.
So good.
Okay, so I think your concern is addressed.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I have a series of small comments, and they're not major ones, if you'll indulge me here. On the very first page about request for vote, some of the format, you talk about Jerry as the person to contact. I'd suggest you tell people how to find Jerry. You know, you just give an address or a phone number, small stuff, okay? I think you need to be a little bit consistent. You've used the word contractor, respondent, and consultant at various times through the document, so you should come up with a consistent name if you could.
I'll have my email and telephone.
Yeah, just, it's an easy thing to add. There's a paragraph or an item 23 about compliance with laws, which, under general conditions, just check this, guys. This reads like it's a construction contract, the way it's written. I think it just needs to edit it a little bit, because it talks about compliance with the laws and following drawing specifications, et cetera. So I think it's not a bad thing. Virginia did a good job of sort of distributing a question that was in the Article 17, that there was an odor control or a vent issue up at the treatment plant. Okay, there was
Service road?
a service road. There's a vent on Service Road that was part of Article 17. It's sort of slipped through the cracks so far, and I'm wondering if under this engineering scope of work, that should be a task to look at that, or whether that's being done someplace else.
My understanding was that there was money available left over from Shiverix Pond for that purpose. Is that accurate?
We hope to be money left over. I mean, we have an engineering report that outlined what we, preliminary scope, a preliminary idea of what we need for Shiverix Pond and for Service Road.
So you got an idea of what you want to do?
So we have a process to do that, but have to see what money's left on.
Okay, so we don't need to have this engineer figure out what to do.
Could I interject just at this point on that topic? It's my understanding that the settlement is going to take the dollars that were left over from Article 18, which was the construction repairs to Shiverix and Surf Drive, and apply those to studies. It was a note at the bottom of that page of settlement that you passed out. So I'm concerned that we have the same dollars, whatever they may be, being allocated to different things. So my suggestion is that if you look under task 1, you get down near towards the end of the bullets. It says, evaluate West Falmouth plant capacity and operations. And I suggest we include the words, including vent pipe on service road, and recommend any needed upgrades. And that way, it's there, it's been on the table, and it's been a public issue since the first committee started reviewing this, and this way, it'll not fall off the...
And we may not need it by then, but if we do, it'll be there.
But if we do, it'll be
And just as a clarification, but I think and Ray and Eric were part of that, we said we have some initial money to get studies going. There is no doubt we're coming back for additional money as we get meat on the plans. So I think it all falls in. It didn't subsume all that money.
No.
We just said we had a kitty, some of it spoken for, some of it isn't.
Right. And this agreement with the state and with the coalition wouldn't have the ability to do that anyway. It was just our reference to where we were going to be paying for our current efforts.
So the BBC would know that we had something to jump off
So,
with.
okay, we've got a real amendment here. Which
So that's my amendment. It's on page 310-1, and it's the third bullet up from task 2, which is, it's in task 1. Evaluate West Falmouth plant capacity and operations, comma, including vent pipe on service road, and recommend any needed upgrades.
310-1.
Yeah, we've got this pagination
Got the
problem.
page
again.
numbers
Yeah,
again.
I have 02-3.
Oh.
Don't ever do this again. We can't have two versions of the same thing with different page numbers.
This is what was sent out to be printed to,
Well, yeah, apparently,
Electronically
Ray
and
brought a set this evening with apparently were
I see.
different than
Okay,
that.
that explains it.
I-
Okay.
Virginia, while we're talking to that specific bullet, where it says evaluate the West Falmouth plant capacity, is that specifically for the lower Little Pond service area flows or for the full range of flows up to 2.1?
You'll have to ask Ray.
Question again?
In the comprehensive wastewater management plan, they talk about a build-out flow of 2.1 MGD or some number like that, right? A certain amount of this work up to this point is all about Little Pond, so when we're evaluating the West Falmouth plant capacity, are we evaluating it for the ability to accommodate the lower Little Pond sewer service area or the big picture? What's the thought process there? Because it seems unclear what they're truly evaluating.
Okay. The collection system itself is perfunctory. That's going to have an associated value, X amount of hundreds of thousands of gallons.
Right.
So that's not going to change or impact any design considerations for the collection system area itself. And as long as the treatment plant location doesn't change, then it's not going to affect the sizing of the lift stations. But it's a good question because now you're into the future design. When it comes to future designing of a system, then the major transmission mains, as well as the capacity of the lift stations, does come into play. So the question is, you can put a single lift station in this particular area, it will pump wastewater to X. But if there's going to be an adjacent area that is also going to have wastewater flow, is it going to pump independent of that, or is it going to pump into that lift station? And it's very similar to what we have here now. You have the Woods Hole lift station, which has a specified capacity and head that it pumps against. And then you have the Shiverks lift station. So the Woods Hole lift station takes care of Woods Hole. Shiverks takes care of the downtown area. And both of them then pump into a larger lift station, which is the Jones Palmer lift station, which handles the entire town and pumps it on up to the plant. At the time that that was designed, Phase 2 had to be incorporated into it. So all of the transmission mains for that, and it wouldn't have impacted Woods Hole at all, but it would have impacted the downtown area and the Shiverks lift station. Why? It would have had to accommodate the flow for Mara Vista, if you will. And then the Jones Palmer lift station would have to be able to accommodate that additional flow. So literally, the system was oversized for that. So it's really a very good question. At this point, there's the Little Pond collection system. It's going to have a flow value, but when it comes to evaluating the plant, on the surface, it would say that it's going to be for whatever that collection system is. But since they don't know yet what it's going to be, that's a number that we would have to give them. So if we were going to say in a reasonable amount of time, what would it take to expand the plant, or what would it take to upgrade the plant to be able to accommodate Little Pond or a larger flow, we can give them that number, and they can still design Little Pond. That's not going to change cost that much. And then for the design of the plant, it really won't change what their recommended design of the plant is going to be that much. It might be some level of effort, but not that much. You're giving them a plant and saying, size it for X or size it for Y, one or the other.
Well, let me put a question back to the full committee then. If this bullet under the evaluate West Falmouth plant capacity, and the subsequent bullet to it that says prepare necessary regulatory and resource agency filings for disposal of treated effluent outside of West Falmouth watershed, is it the sense of this committee that we want this engineering analysis to be done for a confined value of just the Little Pond lower watershed, an interim value of the Little Pond watershed plus some other amount for whatever the next component may or may not be, or all the way out to the 2.1? Because I think we've already got the outline of the 2.1 in some ways through the work that's been in the comprehensive, the draft plan. And so the question is, at the more detailed level, because I think, again, I'm responding to this without some guidance, might be two different levels of analysis.
I might be able to shed some light on that. There's the intent of the RFP, and the intent of the RFP is to find a firm. That's the true intent of the RFP, to find a firm that has a lot of depth, a lot of expertise in a number of different areas, because literally, you don't have to do that. You don't have to put an RFP out. You can select an engineering firm. You can pick and choose who you want, when you want, and for what you want. Because when it comes to services, engineering services and consulting services, for horizontal public works projects, it's exempt from having to do that. So we are doing that. We are going with an RFP, and we are following that process, but you're not bound by that. If you were to find a firm that you like, you can expand that and continue on with that by adding additional components to that engineering services. And that's what I would expect, because otherwise, if what you're really looking for here is to start going out on a larger scope, they're going to bid on it, they're going to propose on it, all right, and that's what you're going to get back. And I wasn't clear, at least I wasn't clear that that's what we were
The
yet.
answer, Steve's
But
question.
I appreciate that, but I guess I want to try to get a sense of this committee, and I would suggest.
gonna just do that.
Yeah, I was going
Right.
to, I would suggest that perhaps we might want to say that they should evaluate this for either for two conditions. One, a 50% increase in the current plant's average daily flow, whatever that number is, and a 100% increase. That would take us from $500,000 to $750,000, and from $500,000 to $1 million, for looking what those two values might be. Something like that, some limits. But turn it back over to you.
Okay. Comments?
Well, I'm for being specific with what we need to apply for the state revolving fund, state revolving loan. And what we need is the information for Little Pond if we
Right.
were to sewer. So I don't really want to expand into how much additional water there might be from some other place.
Okay.
I want to stay focused on the area that we've identified as our study
Okay, does
area.
anyone disagree with that?
Well, Steve, are you thinking that you could interpolate between those three numbers, the existing, the 50%, and the 100%?
No, I just, right now, it seemed open-ended, so if we're in agreement that it should be for the lower Little Pond sewer service area, then I would suggest some language into these two bullets that makes it a little more specific that the evaluations are for whatever flow numbers are developed associated with the
What
Little
about the
Pond.
possibility that everyone has considered that the Oyster Pond amount, which is tiny compared to Little Pond, but it's still finite, might join those amounts?
There you go.
That would be a later study. We haven't even studied Oyster Pond. We can take a guess at it. When we have the study from Oyster Point, we have a consultant, that's this omnibus consultant, whatever the results are, maybe they won't recommend going to Oyster Pond. We'll study it, because we should study it, but the recommendation could be a cluster system. At that point, we have the information to evaluate whether it should go to the main treatment plant and expand the evaluation if that flow gave us a hiccup. So I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's a good thought.
No question. I think Virginia's got the right idea here. We're talking about the Little Pond watershed, period.
Okay, so-
That's what task one is.
All of the
It's-
task-
All of it is focused on
Okay.
lower Little Pond.
It is.
project.
The heading says
There's a
that.
need for a lot of specific information specifically for that area.
All right, Ron.
Just one point. I kind of like what it says, because basically it says you're going to evaluate the capacity
Yep.
of the plant, and if it covers Little Pond or more than Little Pond, we'll know that, basically. It's the capacity of the plant as it is. And I think that that would tell us right away where things stand. If it covers the Little Pond or watershed or
All
not.
right, you're happy with the wording as it exists now?
Yeah.
And Steve is saying that it's not, Steve Rafferty
No,
is saying
no,
it's not explicit enough that it's just lower little pond.
I read this as though I was going to be a respondent to it.
Yeah.
And I could go to two interpretations of what I was going to do, and I probably in my response, I'd say what I interpret that to mean, but I wanted to be sure that we all agreed what it meant.
All right, nobody here disagrees that we're talking about Little Pond watershed.
Perfect.
Fine.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, any
So
any other?
you would not want additional
Excuse me, we wait to be recognized in this committee, even if we work for us.
Especially.
Especially if we work for us. Would you like to be recognized?
Yes, please. Should I identify myself?
Feel free.
Sia Karplus, just to, because I'm taking notes on the comments you're making, I just want to make sure that I understand the final decision is not to add clarification into that bullet that says for Lower Little Pond service area, to not have that.
There's been no amendment offered, and none is going to be offered, so I think we're done. Any other, now, you had a piece that required an amendment. Do you want to give us
Okay.
that one?
So it's the bullet, evaluate West Falmouth plant capacity and operations, and that's, I'm queuing off the operations by specifically mentioning, including the vent pipe on Service Road, and recommending the upgrades.
All right.
I have a comment on the next bullet.
Is that an amendment?
That is an amendment, I
Okay.
so move.
Seconded?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Got it. Go.
Okay. The next bullet has an initial environmental assessment will be submitted by the town with the draft CWMP to the State and Cape Cod Commission regarding Site 7. Is that a true statement? Okay, and is it in this draft already? Okay, my apology, I just didn't see it.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
spend the rest of the night on that draft,
Yes.
and I'm sure it'll come up
Okay.
again. In fact, I know it'll come up again. Okay, any other comments on this issue?
I had two. Okay. On the following page,
Okay.
under supplemental tasks, I just wanted to ask Steve Layton to confirm. The engineering firm and the RFP that's been put out on Oyster Pond is evaluating a potential for a connection to the main wastewater treatment plant through tapping into the main from Surf Drive. That's part of that scope.
Yes, I'm not, I'm bringing it up now because it's directly related to this. The timing under schedule, that this would all be finished by August 2013, I think might be too soon for them to have the analysis by the Oyster Pond engineering firm ready for review.
I agree. And I think that I'm just going to conjecture that when we submit the SRF application, there could be some possible additions that would be coming when we finally submit the real design. I don't know whether that's allowed, but do you think it's allowed? Yeah. So all the way along, we're going to have trouble with scheduling because we have so many pieces of work to be done, and they're
Right.
not necessarily going to come at the right times, but we will do the best we can.
We'll do the best we can, exactly.
Yes. Okay,
Yep.
and then on the following page, Sorry.
Just
Sorry.
one quick thing, under the supplemental tasks. Is the respondent to price the supplemental task or not?
I'm sorry?
Is the respondent expected to be pricing the supplemental task or not? Because oftentimes the use of a phrase supplemental tasks implies something that's not part of the scope of work but will be added later.
And not so much added later, okay, but that if they are going to price it, they can do that separately.
So there should be some clarity around that,
I
the way the
think
document's
he's
currently
right.
written.
Yeah,
Okay.
that we will need some review, some element.
So it'd be review information from
M-
the
m-
engineering firm.
yeah, m-
Cost.
To include-
Might I suggest that perhaps you consider putting in, say, there's an allowance, that
Make
each
an
respondent shall
allowance.
carry an allowance of X dollars to be used for supplemental tasks that might include but will not be limited to the following three.
Right,
Something like
because
Okay.
they're required to submit a table. all right? And that table has to break down the components of their costs. So
Yeah.
it's going to, if there's a cost for that, it will appear in the table.
Yeah,
specifically.
No, I think that there's a little ambiguity about the word supplemental task, whether it's priced or not priced, and how it gets in the table.
So
Right.
we've cleared that up, we think? Good, okay, what else we got? Win?
I'll just have a direct question to Ray. So you're asking let us take, for example, the eco toilet project. If we provide you with cost figures that we have by December 31st, they will be expected to analyze those cost figures. And it looks like in bullet 3, we could continue to provide you with additional cost figures up until later on, up until later in the year. If we don't have all the cost figures by that time, we could continue to provide better cost figures.
Correct. This does have a time frame of December for this year for a lot of things, okay? So if you go beyond that, you just have to understand that it's still possible and doable and everything, but the question is this going to be before or after then?
That's true of every one of these. We're going to do the best we can, get the best numbers we can by December and move on.
Right.
Silly. Okay, any other comments, questions, or observations?
I have one last one, and it's the page after the one we were just discussing. It says, for task 3, SRF application shall be provided in format required by the state with 3 hard copies for the town. I don't think 3 is enough for the town.
That's fine. That's easy enough to adjust.
Okay, so I think that we'd want 7 plus 3, 10.
7 for us, 3 for you. 10.
7 plus
Great.
3,
10.
yes.
We got it.
10.
Okay, any further amendments to be offered here? Ron?
I just have a question. In preparing this, and you looked at all the documents we've been preparing, the scheduling and everything, is there something you'd suggest would be changed on that side of things to make this kind of work more effective? In other words, you're saying a lot of things have to be done by December, this kind. Did you run into anything that said, how are we going to do that, or we'll try our best, or something like this?
Everything. No, I think these are the issues are complex. I mean, what you're dealing with is over the top as far as complexity, cost, the enormity of the issue and resolution, all of that. It's not going to be easy. And the point to answer your question now, many of your answers will come from this. Ultimately, when you select this firm, it'll be your best friend. It'll be the town's best friend, because that will be the answer arena, if you will, to be able to, in an omnibus fashion, under that umbrella, if you will, that you can start taking all of these things and getting that value engineering that you need and that independent review, if you will, for any other independent studies that happen to be out there. And so it's really intended, this is intended to find a firm that gives you a level of comfort. You need to be able to work with them, the town needs to be able to work with them, and that's the goal. And hopefully it'll take the town into the future. So as far as the CWMP and the respective RFPs now and the other issues that haven't even gotten to that point yet, some are going to be better than others, some are going to be yes, some are going to be no, but I think it's going to put you in the driver's seat. That's really what this is about.
Okay. Comment from the public? Okay, a motion to adopt as amended the RFP presented by Ray Jack and send it on to the selectmen with a favorable recommendation. Is that, somebody want to
So
move?
moved.
Second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Almost done?
Well done. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
You have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was a lot of work in a very short time, and I know you've got a lot of other things to worry about, so we appreciate it.
Well, it wasn't just me.
Well, we know one other guy who had a piece of it.
Well, no, the Amy was about clarification, and just by the nature of this, and the aquaculture one isn't far behind. This goes to the top of my list, because this sets the format of how we go forward. So this, and I think the selectmen have the next 2 Mondays off, so we can't get to them until the night you give the presentation.
16th, right?
Right. I have a suggestion, though, that we presume that they will vote yes, and that we have the legal ad all prepared. I believe the deadline is Tuesday for publication the following Wednesday, not the same week, but the following week. And so if we have all of the paperwork ready to issue it, and the copies to go out, that would really accomplish a lot, rather than starting after they go.
Well, just to understand, the advertisements for this is dictated by the state. We go into the central register.
That's
I can almost pick a date now.
Yeah.
And then it's not secondary, but then we pick a date for the Falmouth Enterprise and probably the Cape Cod Times to advertise it. So that part of that, I'll be on a tightrope to do it. I have money to do it. And I'll discuss it with the chairman and with Ray as to what assumptions I can make.
Okay.
Ron?
Could I just make a suggestion, Jerry, possibly, that over the next 2 weeks, while we're waiting for the selectmen to come back, that we get the other RFPs out there? I mean, you've got them approved, they're already approved, they're waiting, they're on your desk. Why not just get them out
Yeah,
there?
the committee will be pleased to know that Sia's first task has been to help him do that, because
Okay.
we have just put an enormous number of things on his lap all at
Right,
once.
right, okay.
And she can help, and she will.
Great. Okay, good, that'd be great, thanks.
So good. Okay, we're done with this one. Thank you
Done with
very
this.
much for your work and for coming tonight. Everybody have their draft CWMP that we sent out, handed out
Right.
last week?
Ray?
Everyone's had a chance to look at it and make notations, suggestions, and observations on that. I think, to be realistic, it's going to be a long haul, but are you in a position now, as comments come from the committee, to absorb them and, or should we have someone else help take notes on that, or Sia could help, but do you think you can do it without her, or do you need her? Say what?
Whatever format you want to proceed with, I did review the comments that were sent to me by
Okay,
email this
well,
afternoon.
the format's going to be, we're going to go section by section, page by page, as each one comes along. The question is, as we make observations and changes, do you want her help in notating them, or do you want to do it yourself?
I would like help in notating. I think it makes a lot more sense, and I think it's more valuable to you if
Yes.
I can. not
Right,
keep her
well,
in
exactly,
mind.
you've got to be answering questions as well as taking down things. Okay, so we'll start with the cover and move on to the end, and we'll go section by section. As we go along, as anybody has a point they want to raise or a correction they want to make, we'll bring it up, we'll take it up, we'll dispose of it, and we'll keep moving.
On the cover, Amy brought this up. Do we say to include recommendations for the West Falmouth?
That was my first question.
Oh, okay.
We got to work West Falmouth into this somehow. That was part of the settlement agreement, that this CWMP would include
Recommendations for West
recommendations by
Falmouth Harbor.
Falmouth. So, right on the cover, we got to get West Falmouth Harbor. Okay. I had a question for you before, which you answered, but no one else knows that, which is, remember, during our workshop, we worked some time over an evaluation process that we were going to adopt, and we put it together and we adopted it, and it is nowhere to be found in this current iteration, but you found it and you're going to put it in somewhere, is that
Correct.
accurate?
What I responded back to you is that, yeah, you are correct. We did talk about it, and it didn't make its way in. What I proposed, the place to add it is in the recommended plan chapter under the adaptive management plan. Because that set of criteria would be useful for evaluating the alternatives and the information that gets developed.
Yeah, and we did,
So there would be,
adopted.
as I would then add it, is describe the workshop which developed the criteria, provide a bit of summary of that and what the criteria were that came out of it, and say that these criteria are expected to be used as part of the adaptive management decision making.
everybody good with that?
That's the right place to put it.
All right,
Okay,
let's start with executive summary, ES1,
I'm your first comment.
first comment.
Because I believe that there's a section that needs to go before ES1, and I sent everybody an email, and that is what is currently called Introduction to Falmouth's Unique Characteristics and History. this was really a 3-page statement by the committee that laid out the whole picture of where we have come from, where we are, and where we're going, and how we're fitting the financing, how we're making this work. And it was intended to be a preface, a letter, a message, and...
Preamble.
And, beg your pardon? A
Preamble, right.
Okay. And so, obviously, the table of contents needs to have this. If we, all we need to do is settle on a word. It was, at the moment, it was just considered introduction, and it was thrown in with a whole lot of other things. Totally loses its impact.
Right.
So it needs, so is preamble a good word for the committee? Okay.
Preamble, sound good? Okay, and it'll go right in front there, in front of ES1?
So the table of contents will show preamble and the same characters and bold.
Right.
And then it will start executive summary.
So the document will start with the ice ages and move on from there.
That's
Right.
right, you got it.
You have to start somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and I read the preamble again, and it flows into the rest of the document if it comes first. It does not quite fit where it is
Right.
now, and it definitely loses its impact.
Okay, so we all in favor of relocating
I
that?
so moved.
Okay, good.
All right.
Where is it now?
Right now, it's on page 1-1,
Yeah, it's way further in the
so it's
back.
in chapter 1, and it does mean when you move that preamble, that you will have to
Oh, sure.
renumber 1.2, 3,
Okay.
4.
The point about West Falmouth being included is going to have to be raised every time that this document references
It's the very last
Little Pond, Great Pond, Green
Just
Pond.
to the- It's there, yep,
Okay.
it's there.
Oh, it is, okay, it's in,
It is,
it's
it
in the,
is.
it's in the S1,
Yeah,
but there are many places where it isn't, and it'll have to get in,
But what you're saying is you wanted the title of the document itself.
for starters, but also when you're reiterating which ponds you're covering, you gotta include West Falmouth Harbor. Okay, anything else on ES1?
I have one small statement.
Sure.
Both the eco-toilet demonstration project and some of the others, I'm talking about at the last line in paragraph 2, the word evaluation. It suggests that evaluation is not going to begin before 2015. And a lot of the evaluations are going to occur before 2015, a lot of the and so I'm not sure exactly how to...
I see your problem, right.
I'm not exactly how sure to... I didn't suggest any wording, but I think something, maybe dropping the word evaluation
Yeah,
out there.
that would do it. So you're talking about operations.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Everybody see what he's talking about? Second paragraph, last line. Right now it says operation and evaluation. We're obviously going to do some evaluation before 2000.
Starting year 2015, he starts with and says it's...
Right, we'll be doing evaluations before that, so he wants to just take out the word and evaluation.
So we put a period after end of operation.
No, of several that's correct. For this
Well, it wouldn't-
area as
it
well
wouldn't
as
even be-
operation.
It wouldn't even be commencing the operation. That would have been
Some-
before 2015.
Some of them could come before 2013.
Some of them could, yes.
Yeah, there'll be the pilot shellfish before
Yeah,
2015.
that's right.
So,
You could just end the sentence at wastewater facilities for this area, period.
true,
Okay.
because the other things are going to be before 2015. Okay, want to do that?
Okay, that's fine.
Everybody on board?
Okay.
Okay, so everything after, everything after the word area comes out in that sentence. Right, okay. Anything else on page ES1? Anything on page ES?
I have one. Question, on the bulleted list,
Yeah,
fertilizer was not included, should it
it is not a demonstration
Not a
project,
demonstration.
and it does say demonstration project include but are not
be?
limited
Not a
to.
demonstration.
So, page ES2, any,
Point on that, I wasn't going to bring it up till later, but, so you are specifically saying, because I've heard contrary to this at some of these meetings, that there will be demonstration projects of on-site denitrifying systems, not just study of them.
Oh.
I was going to bring that up under the budget,
Oh,
because
I
I
see.
think
Oh,
there's a
well, now
place where
you have a point
some
there.
money
Yes.
is planned by different people, the same money to be spent twice.
he's got a point. The demonstration projects include on-site denitrification septic system and their components? It's not, I guess that's not really.
Well, I'd prefer to have the demonstration projects, but, or at least money for studying them.
Well, it's
But I certainly don't want to say that we're going to do it and then not do it.
Right.
This says investigation of, okay? It doesn't say that it will actually be built. This sentence says, demonstration projects conclude but are not limited to investigation of, all right?
All right. Well,
And on-site D-nights are in a slightly special category because they're already approved by the state. We have this list of brands. And so property owner could decide, I've got my septic system, I'm going to add it in tomorrow. And it's not terribly well-known, and it may turn out to interplay with eco-toilets very well.
Yes.
So that's the real reason we're keeping it on the radar screen, but it isn't really a demonstration project.
But we're not sure about the efficacy of it. And
The state.
George is working on that.
That's correct.
But suppose he decides, in conjunction with the statistics that Brian Dudley wants, decides that more work needs to be done.
Then we will have to wait for DEP we will have to do more work. It may become something that will have to be more funding. It may turn out to be the opposite, that it gets a green light.
Right, well, one
Right.
thing, just one thing to put in perspective is that on Cape Cod, there are 1,500 of these systems. And the thing is that from that pool, we should be able to get a pretty good idea
I think that's a good
of
point.
what's happening, and that's why we sort of, that's why I think this investigation word is a good one
It's
to
a good
include.
one, yeah. I like
Because,
it the way it is.
you know, because they're a little costly to put in, but,
So that can all be done at no cost.
well, we.
I would
The
argue.
sampling is going to cost something.
I would argue, as I've argued before, that we should not have to pay for our own investigation of those in addition to what is already going on. That Cape Cod needs those. Cape Cod will have to figure that
Well,
out, I think.
let's remember what we're doing here. We're looking at a sentence that says something,
Yeah.
and we're presenting it to the public as our position on the matter, and that's all we're doing. We're not going any further with.
No.
I think
no, no.
I think we're also getting a little bit confused of whether or not what's in this report here is only those things that are currently being funded and being done.
Right.
Right now, we've got a 20-year period here of doing this, so sometime over that 20-year period, we might do more or less with any one of these.
Right, right. I think it's okay to read it.
Okay. Yeah, I would remind folks, we've seen all these before, at least some of them, so none of this should be terribly new.
It's like when the legislature says we're on like third reading.
That's right, this is the third reading.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, page ES2, any other,
I have just a comment. I want to thank Nate and GHD, whoever articulated this. That first paragraph about the fact that we are looking at watershed management in a larger context, and that it takes time to identify and clarify what will work. And the key sentence that you put in there is the town is looking for an affirmation of this approach by the regulatory community.
Eric's text.
Well, okay, that is the key.
Good
that
job,
is the
Eric.
key-
we don't get to use that word too often.
All right.
No, it is.
It's Eric's. Okay, well then, Eric, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
You'll get my bill.
If the regulators get no farther than page 2, they will at least understand where the town of Falmouth is coming from.
I think they've caught our drift by now. They have a good sense that we are asking them to approve something that they've never approved before, but by God, they're going to do it here.
Yeah.
That is basically our spin, and they're getting it.
Okay.
And they're actually responding in a very positive manner so far, so we'll see.
It'd be very affirmative.
Okay, ES3. ES4.
At ES4, I would just offer that on figure ES2, the word existing is a typo.
Yes, it is.
Where are you?
In this word right there.
Oh, on the chart, or the
Figure
the
ES2.
figure. Okay, figure ES2 has a typo, yes.
The title of the
Estimated
title.
existing wastewater is not spelled.
Just transposed,
Well.
the word existing has been transposed.
Yeah.
Small stuff.
It's all right, we should catch this stuff.
But on the third reading, you pick up those, right?
Yeah. That's what the committee on third reading is theoretically for.
Pick up more next time.
All right, page ES5, or no, ES5.
This is,
Steve?
go ahead. Just on figure ES3, this is picky, but it's probably key. If you look at the legend, there's all these nice colors on here, and I realize it's estimated future wastewater removal percentages, but they're defined as sewer service areas,
Yes.
and perhaps they should just be,
Right.
watershed areas or something.
Right, we have another phrase for sewer service areas, and you suggested it.
Well, these are just areas that we need.
Water management
No,
area.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen management.
Nitrogen management area.
Nitrogen management area. These are not
Okay.
sewer service areas necessarily,
Everywhere it's found.
everywhere it's found.
Except where it's supposed to be a sewer service.
Right.
In which case it can
Okay.
stay.
Well, it is there too, actually. Okay, ES5, any, yes, Ron?
I just have one comment. I'm not certain that, at least, whether this is the complete list that's presently approved by the state.
That's a
I
good
think
point,
that-
because
I
this
think
list
that-
is the same as the one you had a couple of years ago, and maybe things have changed.
I'm pretty sure they have. I've counted like 30-some
Okay.
different
So
systems.
is it fair to request that the current list be here? All right, ES6. ES7.
I think Sia had mentioned that this was in the context of what was done before.
Right.
So that what was done before, maybe we could add in anything new.
Does this list occur in the main body? Or is this the only place it's listed?
This is,
Yeah. Actually, what this says is alternative solutions were identified in the alternative screening analysis report in November 2009. So you're listing what was in the report in 2009, which you're right, is not what's in the report now. So is it more appropriate to just tell them what was there 2 years ago, or to give them a current list?
I think it is, we're going to run into this quandary of this. I think it is probably best to keep it as sort of a snapshot in time, and, I think that there is a lot of words in here that indicates that this is going to be evolving, and it's going to be a work in progress and a living document as it goes forward.
Okay.
So let's,
But just as an update, then maybe we just say that that there have been additional ones aligned to that effect.
Yeah, you could throw a sentence in that says
On our
that.
website, such and such.
Can we possibly go in the other direction?
Yeah.
I would just have the first line, 1, systems with mass, D, approval for general use, but not credit for nitrogen removal. I wouldn't list the bullets underneath them. This is the executive summary of things that were looked at.
Yeah.
So that's just, if somebody wants to delve into what was really looked at, they can read the rest of it.
This is the list as of 2007.
Yeah.
So it's really obsolete.
So it's confusing. I would just say,
Yeah.
2, non-discharge and/or reduced discharge systems. I'd leave the next 3 bullets off. 3, systems approved for general use of nitrogen, center. Leave the bullets off. And that way, it just lists the things that were done back in 2007.
I
Okay,
think
does that sound,
that's a good
that sound good?
suggestion.
Fine?
Yep.
Everybody good
Which
with
page
that?
are you now on?
I'm on
Okay.
ES5.
ES5.
And
Okay,
rather-
okay, yeah. right,
Rather than
yes.
call this out by all these bullets, just
Right.
have 1, 2, just have the 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, strike them all out, in other words.
Yeah, there's no need to go down to that level of
Right.
detail in an executive summary.
Right. Okay, I think everyone's on board with that.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all bullets out.
ES5, ES6, ES7.
I have a question on ES7. It references the notice of project change, and that's also in the title. Have you provided that document to us, the notice?
yes, it's chapter 9.
I see.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Steve?
there's a discontinuity from ES5 to ES6.
We're not
For a second, I thought it was 2 more bullets of that list of denitrifying systems, but it jumps from 5 systems approved for pilot use
Oh, yes.
to 3.
5 to 3. yeah.
It's correct, though.
But go back to
When you
ES4.
go back to ES4.
ES4 is-
ES4 is number 2,
Oh, it's
and
a-
then 1, 2,
Oh, it's a
subsection.
higher level in the
Yeah,
outline.
it's a higher level.
They've got you. Okay, back to ES6.
Are those, excuse me,
Sure.
are those sub-bullets under 3 and 4 and ES6 in or out, in keeping with the other?
They were fine.
Leave them in.
They're fine.
They're in.
Want to leave them in? They're in?
Fine.
Okay. ES7. Yes?
Another question?
Yes.
Is it December 2007? The alternative screening analysis report was 2009, a few pages before, and here it says 2007.
It's the
Environmental notification.
That's the last one that was filed.
Yeah, the alternative screening analysis report was 2007. The preliminary draft, CWMP, was 2009.
Okay, so those are.
They're good.
Right. I've just had, always had a point about this, it's not a big deal, it's a word thing. But the title of ES7 is, CWMP Project Completion Implementation Timing. Seems to me it should be Project Implementation and Completion Timing.
You're way ahead of us.
No, you said yes.
We're on page yet.
Eric
Oh,
is using
page
pages.
ES7,
You're-
sorry.
Yeah, we're,
Yeah, jumping ahead, right.
yeah. I have to say, we've been living with this for 2.5 years, and it remains the most confusing way to present material that I've ever seen. Because you're right, you can
It's
mix up
because-
page numbers
Right,
and
right, right.
section
No, I thought
numbers.
we were jumping through this pretty quickly, so.
Okay, page ES7.
Okay.
Page ES8. Again, all of this is sort of regurgitating the history of past studies, so
Yeah.
it's not,
I have a question on
Sure.
page ES8, and it's the paragraph in the middle that starts with note.
Yep.
And it's the next to the last sentence. An outfall would lower groundwater elevations of the Sagamore flowlands in certain areas of town due to the relocation of current water recharges. And then it says parentheses, at existing wastewater treatment plant facility, WTF, and at existing septic systems. If we do any kind of sewering, it doesn't matter whether it's an outfall or not, there will be, the flow from the sewer systems, the septic systems, is not going to be on the peninsulas. And, I mean, it's town water that was brought in, and now in a sense it's town water that's being taken out. So I question including that phrase, and at existing septic systems, because it's sort of common to any kind of sewering plan. It's not a reason,
specific
it's
to-
not a negative, or even, it's not even a requirement specifically for outfalls. It's either going to be required for any sewer system, or it's not going to be required.
well, that's right.
And it's been elevated here, I think incorrectly. So my recommendation, my motion is that the words "and at existing septic systems" be struck.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded?
This is really nitpicking, but technically, you have to distinguish between the existing lens and the lens in prehistoric times.
I agree.
You will be lowering it,
Absolutely.
because the
Yeah.
septic flow now is holding it at some level.
At a
true.
higher
It
level.
doesn't
True.
matter.
True.
That's right.
It's-
Yep, I agree with you.
Well,
Okay, well, we have a motion before us, and I haven't heard a second yet. Anybody for seconded to take out the words "at existing septic systems," or "and at existing septic systems"? Debate? Concurrence?
I just have one comment on that point, is that in some areas, like the project area, the Mara Vista, let's just say Mara Vista, right now, there's water going in there, and that water is creating kind of a mounding effect, and that's going to retard the groundwater flow a little bit coming down from the north. And so maybe this existing septic system, I mean, as a discharge into those areas is putting a certain quantity of water into the ground. It creates a slight mounding effect in that area. And the groundwater migration out might be faster as a result of moving that out. That's another factor. So it's, but ocean outfall itself would do that.
Yeah, this would-
Any system, if we take the water and put it in West Falmouth, it would do the
No
same
matter where you
thing.
put it, if
So-
you're taking it away, it'll make that happen.
Right. So it's just this is just dealing with outfall, then it would be, this could be somewhat pertinent, but how to
Right.
say it without getting too complex in the explanation.
Okay,
Well-
well, the motion's made and seconded, and if there's any points to be made on this particular phrase, let's make them.
This
and
phrase
move
is
on.
all about past studies.
Right,
And
okay.
just summarizing them, so.
Should we take it out?
Yeah,
Okay.
do we have a second on the motion?
We did? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Got it. It's out.
Aye, that's the aye.
It's out, it's out. Anything else on ES8? ES9, page ES9.
Page ES9 will, under ES.5, recommended plan is a comprehensive strategy. See introduction points, it'll now be 1-4, not 1-5,
Okay.
because the introduction that is now the preamble
But
was,
is the introduction going to get its own one dash whatever, or is it going to be standalone without having that?
our preamble is just called preamble, but
Okay.
what I'm saying is, right now, it has its own number, and it's 1-1. So
Oh,
if you remove
Oh,
it,
right, you're right.
you've
Okay.
got to renumber everything, and here's
Okay.
one place, so it should say, this points 1 through 4, it shouldn't,
Right.
is what's needed, not points 1 through 5.
Okay, so we're talking about renumbering.
Renumbering is.
Gotcha.
I don't,
Are these points 1 through 5, are they in the preamble now?
No.
where's this points 1 through 4 and 1 through 5?
One of them is, I think.
All right, if you turn to chapter 1, introduction,
Yeah, give us a page number.
all right, it's 1-1.
Oh, okay.
The preamble has its own category, which is called 1-1,
The retreat of the glacier in the last
or
ice age.
1.1. And then you have 1.2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you now don't have
Right.
1.1, so you need to
Basically, you-
renumber that section,
Right.
and this is a reference to that section, so it needs
Oh.
to be corrected.
Oh,
Okay.
Where's
Right.
that reference?
So
You don't have 1.1, but you still have 1.
You will have a new 1.1, but you will have a total of 4 points instead of 5,
Within
Right.
1.
within one.
But you'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
No.
Nate can follow these numbers. I don't think this committee should be trying to follow
Right,
these.
yeah, we're not going to
But
read.
the point she's making is that by moving a portion of the
Right.
introduction out to a preamble, it changes the
Yep.
numbering.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I get that.
Yep.
But that little
Oh,
parenthetical expression behind the asterisks,
See-
the points 1 through 5, are those points 1 through 5 that are on, that start on
Let's
page
scratch this
1-4,
phrase.
1-3?
Can we just scratch this phrase?
Scratch
Does it
the
do anything?
phrase. There you go, good idea. Good
The
idea.
recommended plan is a comprehensive strategy for wastewater and nitrogen management, just a statement.
Yep.
What-
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
what-
There's no reason.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's out.
Ma-
Right.
I just want to go back a bit, because this will come up again later in the, on page, on ES8. It talks about moving water beyond the nearshore environment when it comes to ocean outfall. It's in the middle of that big paragraph there. 2,000 feet offshore is pretty near shore. So I think, if I talk about nearshore fisheries or something like this, I mean, 2,000 feet is definitely not beyond.
Well, they talk about nearshore environment where it caused eutrophication in the estuary, so that's their idea of nearshore.
Yeah,
No, it says into a well-mixed zone, No, 2,000 feet is then it's later on, discussion.
Oh, okay.
So that, but it refers here to, beyond the nearshore environment, but the 2,000 feet is in another section back here.
Okay, well,
And I'm just-
right, we will have a whole section on that coming up.
Right, but that'll revert back here if we want to
Okay.
change it later.
Okay. Have you got a spot here you want to fix now, or wait for that?
I would say, it would move the tertiary water beyond, I would just say into a well-mixed zone, regardless, we don't know where it's going to go yet. So I
Okay, so
wouldn't
take out the words beyond the nearshore environment,
Yeah,
okay? Any problem with that? Okay, all in favor?
Is that okay?
I would
I-
disagree. I
No?
think
Okay.
that it's a vague term, it's not, it has no firm definition
no,
in
no,
the
it's
scientific
it's
literature.
defined later on, 2,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's also a term of art. Let's take it out here. The people that do modeling for the oceans,
Okay.
they talk in terms near field,
All right.
far
So-
field.
so we're
It's a
at-
well-mixed zone we're going to.
So we're okay with taking that phrase out here?
Well,
Right.
Okay.
Nate?
It was put in there because there is some understanding that we would hope the reader would get, that this treated water is going into the groundwater and then having to move through the estuaries in this nearshore environment that's particularly prone to eutrophication.
Right.
But when it's discharged 2,000 feet offshore in a well-mixed area, it's pretty well understood that it's not going to cause eutrophication. So that was the understanding that was wanted to be delivered. And I believe it's appropriate, but it probably does get tripped up over a little bit later on when we talk about 2,000 feet. And some people that's not near, some people that's not far, so.
And you also make it, what you just said, clear in the next sentence, where the word near shore is used again, the phrase near shore.
That was the reason why it went in.
Well, does the meaning of those two sentences change if we take those 5 words out?
Well, the other thing is that whether we want to say, are we concerned more about the estuarine environment and the nearshore environment?
That's not a discussion matter right here, right now, today.
No, the next factor it talks about. Okay.
Once again, this is a
Right.
regurgitation of their 2009 report.
Right. Okay.
It's not our policy statement.
Okay.
I would like to leave it as it is.
All right.
Okay. Motion,
I so moved. No
Well,
change.
there's been no motion yet to change
That's
it.
right, there hasn't been.
Second.
All right.
There's
No motion,
no motion to
okay.
change it yet.
We're done, so that stays. Okay, we're on page ES9. I can't imagine anything more uninteresting for this audience here who doesn't have a book to follow. But yeah. You're welcome to stay. ES9. We looked at that part about the introduction, took that out. Anything else on ES9? I saw figure ES3 referred to in the third paragraph with one of the dots there, and I was wondering if that was the right reference.
Figure ES3.
Shown in.
Figure ES3?
Figure ES3, it's correct.
That's from a reduced 1 and 2 area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Area F is not shown.
fine. Okay, page ES10.
I have a comment, a single one.
Okay.
It refers to the paragraph ES.5.3, phase construction of the third line in that.
Yep.
Beginning with the sentence, "It is now recommended that the collection system only be implemented," and so forth.
Mhm.
I suggest that I suggest the following change. It is now recommended that the collection system only be considered for implementation at the western end.
Fair enough.
I second that.
Is that, what do you think?
What are you trying to accomplish with that amendment?
Only to make it possible that if we decided at some future time that we were not going to end up with the collection system in that area, that we would not have to do it, or we would not be held to it.
Well, you've got a point on that. I think we've come a long way on this, and the consensus has been for the last 6 months that while we're not sewering the whole, everything south of 28 and then everything north of 28, and we're not sewering just everything south of 28 without Waquoit, we are recommending sewering for this one particular small watershed. And I don't think, if we back away from that, I think we've basically told them, we'd kind of like not to do anything you want.
The thing is that this, pardon me.
Yeah.
This RFP will answer that. And we, so it may say, hey, here's another way.
But it's unlikely to, by December, have enough information about any of these others to say they're going to be preferable to what we're talking about in that area.
Mr. Chair, if I can, I think we touched upon a couple minutes ago that back in 2007 or thereabouts, a notice of an ENF on the project was filed. Everything we've done since then and is now incorporated into this thing is going in as a notice of project change. I think this committee needs to retain a sense of, focus and flexibility about what's in the document, and that it's, nothing in here is ever ultimately cast in stone until we actually appropriate the money, dig it up, and build it. That I'm very comfortable with this phrase in here, because I think it helps us out at the regulatory level with some degree of acceptance, as you're pointing out, Eric, that should we, through everything we're doing over the next couple of years, come to a different conclusion, we would have to come back and file a new notice of project change and revisit this recommendation to take it out. But I think for the time being, taking it out or watering it down is a risky move.
I support that in that it says very clearly here that it is now recommended now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I
Right,
thought the
so-
language is good.
Later, it could be changed.
Right.
I mean, if should it happen, I don't know, but, right? It says it is now recommended.
Mr. Chairman?
Steve?
What about the other direction? Only be implemented at the western end. Suppose our investigations turn out that there's somewhere else that you might also like to have a collection system.
Well, then the "it is now recommended" phrase helps you there, too.
Well,
Because
and then you have
now
to
would
file.
then become then.
You file another notice of project change, if that scenario were to become a reality.
I mean, not to get into the whole ENF process, but the way we are setting this thing up with the milestones to come back to, it begs that at some point over the next couple of years, a decision gets made to perhaps petition for a major and complicated project, which allows project changes to be incorporated and reviewed in a different fashion than having to go back each time for a notice of project change. But for now, I'd say we're at where we're at.
I would withdraw the suggestion that we make the change with the notice that I believe we ought to have the flexibility that we've just been talking about, to go either way, whatever way we go.
I think ultimately you do.
Okay.
All right, now we're looking at some figure ES4, figure ES5. These are all things we've seen before, and now have page ES11.
I have a small change, it's just a correction on ES5, 5.1.
This is figure ES5?
No, I'm sorry,
Where are you?
ES11.
Okay, page
You said
ES11.
ES11.
Paragraph.
Page ES11,
Paragraph
ES5.
ES5, 5.1.
One, yeah.
At the very bottom, the last line in that, there's a typo. Stormwater.
Sottom water.
Yeah. Is it?
Sottom water.
Okay, you find that one?
Just for the record, under figure ES-5, there is one tiny jog in the map that's not correct. And Nate, I haven't been able to connect with you to show it. It is incredibly minor, but I just want you to know it, because if that person gets told it's going to be sewer, it's right here. This is a straight line. This is the property. This is actually the old Joe's driving range, and that's the property line. For some reason, it jogged and included this piece, as I understand it. What I would suggest is you just double check with an assessor's map that the property really does do that. I don't think it does, based on the property maps that I've seen. I think this is a straight line. If you look on the assessor's map, that'll give you the answer.
You got that
All right.
one, Nate?
Yeah.
ES11, anything else on page ES11?
I have a question.
Sure.
It says in several places it's estimated to be a certain source, so at the source of the first sentence, it says it's estimated the stormwater is estimated to be the second largest, and then there are no specific percentages listed, and it goes true for stormwater, fertilizer, fund, inlet widening. I'm wondering if the committee would be interested in having those percentages in here at this point.
Not tonight. Believe me, we're going to send it out of here tonight and give it to the selectmen. I think adding material, I think the committee would like to know this material for its own purposes as we hit each estuary, but to start rewriting this with new numbers is...
The other problematic thing is the percentage number is different from estuary to estuary, so there's not
Right.
a number.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's the other
They
thing.
do change from that.
They
Change from
move
time to
around.
time, too, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a lot of
Every
things.
study-
It's changing,
every
changing,
study
changing.
changes it.
Yeah.
Okay, all done with ES11, we'll move on to page ES12.
I have a comment on ES12.
Okay,
In paragraph ES6-1, background,
yep,
the second paragraph, I'm sorry, the third paragraph, 1, 2, 3, the third paragraph, I would like to omit the phrase, the large from nitrogen management projects. That's the second line
Okay.
from the bottom.
For the construction.
Cost of nitrogen management projects. And I'd like to do it for this reason. I think this unnecessarily prejudices use of SRF funds for innovative loan programs to homeowners with IA and/or eco-toilet installations and innovative gray water systems.
Well, Wynn has a point. We might want to use SRF money for smaller nitrogen management projects. So it's to take a
I'll
large
agree with
out?
that.
Make a
Well,
motion.
does the large refer to the amount, to
The dollars.
the size of a sewer pipe versus the size of an eco-toilet, or does it refer to the dollars?
It
I
refers
think
to
it
the
refers to the
dollars.
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 Yeah.
So if you were actually going to subsidize tens of thousands of eco-toilets, it would be a large
figure,
management
yes, it
cost.
would be. I can see that. I think it's slightly misleading to put that figure
Well,
large
let's
there.
get a motion here. You want large out?
I would like to make the
Okay.
motion.
Second.
Made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Large comes out. Okay, I had two on page. ES 6-1, the second line talks about the coastal ponds within Phase 1 and 2 planning area. We got to add West Falmouth in there.
Oh, yes.
And the West Falmouth watershed is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or included, well, yeah, and the West Falmouth watershed. And,
Where precisely is that? I don't see it.
6.1.
well, it's not there now. We want to put it in.
The first sentence.
End of the first sentence.
Right.
ES6, where's ES6?
It's technically, it's the West Falmouth Harbor watershed.
Okay.
Right, West Falmouth Harbor watershed.
Okay, there we go.
And West Falmouth Harbor. yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
In the West Falmouth Harbor watershed.
Now, the other missing piece, I think, is we've got ES 556, ES 557, there should be an ES 558 about on-night denitrification, which we keep
Right.
omitting.
Oh, no.
Good point,
If you want to add denitrification systems, because that's how we said, or give it its own, 558.
Yeah, give it 558, give it its own.
Okay.
Right, that's what I'm suggesting anyway. Are we okay with that?
Are you making a motion, Mr. Chair?
Made a motion, or somebody can make a
I'll
motion.
second.
Chairs can't make
I
motions?
make a motion that we add an ES 558 relative to on-site denitrifying systems.
Okay, made and seconded.
second
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a few
Opposed?
words? Do we have words for that?
We do somewhere.
On-site denitrification system.
It'll just be a little short paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah, there was.
Who's going to do the words for?
I think we have words later, but right now, we just need,
Just need to get it in
We're
there.
saying we're inserting it.
we'll insert.
Could be almost very close to 557.
Yeah.
Plan demonstration using existing technology in public commercial. We could, we could modify it pretty
Yeah,
easily.
okay.
I don't
Right.
think it's.
Anyway.
Right, that's a good point.
Okay.
Good, good.
Okay.
Page ES 13. Now, we've seen this very recently, and we
Yes.
liked it then, so let's not beat it up too much. ES 14,
We already voted on this, didn't we?
I know, we did,
Yes.
so.
We voted on all the ES.
Most of it, we voted on
All right.
almost everything now. Okay, these next two pages are we're not going to talk about because we've seen them often enough. ES 15. I had a couple of items. In ES 7.5, we got Little Great Green in Boynes Pond, we got to throw in West Falmouth.
But
We're going to have SMAS monitor West Falmouth too?
Yeah.
I think they are
Yeah.
already, aren't
We
they?
don't have a contract yet.
Okay.
But they were included in the list of the estuaries we want them
Yeah.
to monitor.
I see, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And West Falmouth Harbor?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second paragraph, ES 7.4, the fertilizer bylaw, the second paragraph there, it talks about any flows above 500,000 gallons. It's above 570,000 gallons, I believe, is the actual number.
I'm sorry, Eric, I lost
Okay.
you. Where are you?
Where is
ES .7.4,
Yes?
third paragraph,
Third.
third line,
500,000, right.
500,000 is a
Yes,
rounded
permitted.
number, but it's the actual number as agreed
I
to
see.
by all
So
parties.
is-
Above
570,000
570,000 gallons.
gallons per day.
Could you say above approximately 500,000?
Wait, the town,
Well,
Falmouth has
does
committed.
the settlement name a specific number?
570.
And it's 570,000 gallons, then
That
I
is
think
the-
we might as well use it.
Yes, that is our number.
Okay.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time trying to nail that down. Okay, but the last sentence,
But-
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you, on that ES 7.5 that you were on before,
Yeah.
We aren't suggesting we hire a firm to do this work. I mean, we actually learned that's actually already being done by the pond watchers, right?
Well, it was included in our list of water budgets that we wanted SMAS
One of
to
the questions
do.
is going to be, does the pond water sample sufficient to meet the regulatory requirements?
I guess-
I think the answer is yes, but we also may want to do more monitoring.
Yeah, but I just want to be sure that this is a true statement. There's a statement here that says, "The Water Quality Management Committee will recommend to the selectmen that a firm be hired by summer 2012." Are we going to recommend to the selectmen that we hire a firm for this summer?
We have already voted to hire SMAS and direct
Okay,
Jerry
so
to...
that...
Okay. There
I
there
gotcha.
is going to be a time sequence issue all the way through here. At what date was this
Yes.
written, and what was true then, and what is true now, and what
Yes.
will be true 2 weeks from now?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
You're quite right. So,
If we start-
they may not be in place by summer 2012.
So you just moved the summer of 2012 earlier in the sentence to have to do with when the recommendation was made, and then you're not saying
But
anything
could
about
we
how
strike the
fast it
phrase?
happened after that.
Could we strike the phrase by summer 2012, that a firm be
Yes.
hired to monitor?
Second the motion, or somebody.
Second.
Good. That takes care of it. Are we all on board with that? Just take out the word by summer 2012?
By summer 2012.
Great,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Further on up here, ES 7.4, the last sentence, land use controls bylaw will be presented in the fall 2013. It may be a bylaw, it may be a reg, and we may not present it.
I don't see that.
oh, I see. Last
I
sentence
don't
of the
s-
second paragraph.
A second paragraph, okay.
Right.
All right.
If we were to apply for a 0% loan, and if we were to do it through a bylaw process, that would be the time meeting it would go to, but those are two big ifs. I don't think we should have to...
Well, do you want to change will to may? The bylaw may be presented?
May,
Or it could be, will be presented to town meeting.
may,
We don't tell
May.
Well,
what
this
town
is,
meeting.
this is,
mays, use mays rather than wills.
May,
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 mays.
the bylaw may be presented to the fall town, 2013 town meeting.
sound good?
So moved.
Second.
Do it all together?
All in favor? Beautiful. Anything else on ES 15? ES 16.
In ES 16, I have a comment to be made, which should also be made later in the document if it's approved. On paragraph ES 7-78.
Yep.
Eco Toilet Project. I would like to insert between, I'd like to make two changes. Insert between the second and third sentences, using only eco toilets and a request, I think that's the second and third sentences. I'd like to insert the following sentence. Temporary staff approved by the Cape Cod Commission and the town of Falmouth will allow the BCDHE to begin implementation of the demonstration project in August 2012. And at the very end, in the fifth sentence, I would like to change it to say that data will be collected in data collection will continue in 2013. I think that represents better what...
15 or 13?
2013.
Right.
I think that represents better what's actually going to happen.
Moved?
Move?
Is that
I
the email
moved it.
you sent out?
Seconded?
I sent it out. Yes, it's in the... It's in what I
Nate
sent.
has that now, right?
Nate has that.
that.
I have a
Okay.
copy of all of these things that I've sent.
Okay.
Discussion?
I know that's
Okay with that?
You didn't get,
All in favor?
We just say
Aye.
written
Aye.
suggestion.
Opposed? We got it.
okay.
Okay.
Anything else on ES?
Excuse me, this same change should be
Okay.
made on, later on in the document. We might as well get it now.
But, well, we're going page by page, so when you get to the next piece, we'll do that.
Well, okay, I'll try to remember.
Well, I know, if we start going to the new pages, we're going
Yeah.
to,
It's an identical paragraph later on in the
okay, we'll
document.
find it.
On ES, the next section, ES.7.9.
Yep.
I'm sorry to bring this up again, but in this paragraph, it's really, seems to me that we're talking out of two sides of our mouth. I mean, clearly saying 500,000 is on-site denitrifying septic systems as well as eco-toilets. Obviously, the eco-toilet subcommittee expects to use all of the 500,000. What are we saying we're doing here for denitrifying? I mean, we have a dollar figure in that paragraph there.
Okay, we want to take out the dollar figure and just say they appropriated funding for the purpose?
Well,
think
I'd like to really agree on what we're going to do.
But we're not going to debate how much funding goes to these two options tonight.
Yeah,
This
this is-
really is about language in this
Okay, well,
document.
I'm just on the record that we've been avoiding it for some time.
True. But if I might, the format, if you keep reading each one of these paragraphs, starts off by saying,
Article 17.
on a purely factual basis, what was in Article 17, okay? That's, each one starts off with a factual statement of what was in Article 17.
Right, but you're
As a committee,
implying,
as a committee, we have a problem of how to resolve that, because the eco-toilet folks are marching forward on a plan that they've not parsed off any money for the on-site denitrifying. We'll have to take that up at some meeting as to how to resolve that.
Yes, we will.
Yes. And,
But not tonight.
no, not tonight, but I'll give you a clue. When you look at Article 17, the one piece that has not moved forward is the municipal composting toilets.
Right.
Yes.
So there is some flexibility within the dollars as, when we finally get to that point and so on. I think it's very important that the denitrifying have its place in the sun here. I think it's, and towards greater use of it, we really need to emphasize that Barnstable County has recent data, but it also has very old data, and it needs to
Right.
concentrate on the more.
right, and even if you don't have a demonstration project, it takes money to have somebody knowledgeable
That's right.
study.
Right, and I'm saying that we have some fluidity in funding it.
I would like to say that I have also, at the bottom of ES 7-9, I have something that bears on this question. I would like to change the last sentence. On-site denitrifying septic systems could be an option to on-site eco-toilets. I would like to put in, on-site denitrifying systems could be an option for homeowners and businesses who cannot or do not wish to install eco-toilets.
I second that.
Okay.
Or you
It
could
just
just
makes
change
it
it
clearer
to
what-
alternative.
That's the motion?
Could be an
Yes.
alternative.
That's
yeah.
a second.
All you have to do is change the word option to alternative also, in other words.
Could- Could
Either
be-
one, whichever one.
Okay, well, make.
I would like mine, but
Go ahead.
the other one would do.
He's made a motion, it's been seconded.
I second it.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got that? Everybody got that one?
Is that in the email?
It's in his email.
It's also here.
Okay, fine, good.
I
Okay.
have here a copy, some of the things in the email I added to, and I have a copy of the things that are added. If we haven't come to one yet, but when we do, I have them more complete.
So we're okay on page ES 16.
Right.
ES 17. I have one on ES 712, which is, it says, second line, a request for proposals is being prepared, and at this point, it should say, a request for proposals has been approved by the selectmen.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
So if somebody would move that
I move.
and second it, we will discuss it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, good.
I just-
Anything else on ES 17?
I just have, I'm not sure if it says under ES 7.11.
Yep.
It says, the Springtown meeting funded 500,000 for planning, which is true, but there's also this little line here that says supplemental funds as needed will be voted at subsequent town meetings. Is there any need to say that 500,000 may be increased?
And I think the answer to your question is no. I don't think we need to say that.
Okay.
That was really an explanation to the town meeting, because they were going to say, this is not enough to do the job. So we decided to put that
Okay.
little note in there just to let them know. And it's true. We'll be going back in 2013 and 2014.
Right, okay.
Anything else on page ES 17?
There's a typo at the top, I think the word consider should be considered.
Well, yeah.
You're right.
And the other point is, the Little Pond Stormwater Control Project, is that the right title? It's not consistent, but I saw with Article 17 what it's called. I'm sure you guys have worked this out already, I just noticed the title.
Yeah, what do we call it? Little Pond
I didn't bring my green sheet.
road runoff or something?
It is called,
Road runoff.
Road Runoff Remediation.
There you go.
for
That's it, road runoff for me to
Good
read.
title for a song.
Okay. So, okay to change that? I don't think it needs a motion. Or just-
Well, just
Does it?
hang on.
Okay.
If you change that, then you may also need to change, let me just,
Could we put AKA,
all
Road
right.
Remediation Project?
the
Gantt chart.
the Gantt chart, thank you, that's in blue and white says Little Pond Stormwater Infrastructure and Little Pond Stormwater Control Design. So if we change here, we're gonna have to change that.
All right, well, how about stormwater control project / road runoff remediation project?
I said leave it the way it is.
I think it's
Leave it the way it is?
No.
Okay.
I would leave it where
Leave it
it
the
is.
way it is?
Yeah.
All right. ES 17, anything else on ES 17?
I just need,
Yes.
okay, before we leave this section,
Sure.
I'd like to, on these drawings where the existing estimated wastewater nitrogen.
ES2?
ES2.
Figure ES2, yeah.
Figure ES2 and ES3. I think we need to put the word equivalent in there, because these percentages, otherwise it looks like if we're gonna talk about nitrogen, wastewater nitrogen, it's equivalent wastewater nitrogen, because if the road runoff takes out 20% or something, then it's less. In other words, this is saying wastewater nitrogen removal.
You just want nitrogen removal, not necessarily wastewater.
Yeah, I think, well, no, because then it becomes 100%, and we don't mean 100% of all the nitrogen, we mean 100% equivalent of the wastewater nitrogen.
Yeah, this is very specific wording that's in here, with these percentages that were taken right out of the
MEP.
technical
MEP, yeah.
reports. And if we change any wording on there, there's very big ramification on the meaning of it and how it might be interpreted in the future. I understand that you would probably like to have these numbers be broader than just wastewater nitrogen.
Well, I just think if this is 100% of the septic load in this lower watershed we're looking at. That's what we're talking about, right? But if we do the runoff, and we do get fertilizer control and whatever else we do, okay, in a way, then it may be 80% needs to be, because we've always been talking about reducing the area to be sewered. And if that's the case, then we're.
I think the suggestion might be, at that point in time, we changed this, and we're saying now it's 60%, and then you could say so much. We will know where we're allocating that nitrogen from. Right now, this is based, good or bad, on the MEP report. In the future, we'll know that aquaculture's taken out so much, and we'll probably have a more robust figure.
No, I had understood, when we listened to Brian Howes, I had understood that he said that what would happen is we would go through the process of doing these various projects, and then we would go through a reinterpretation of the TMDLs at that time, and he could reinterpret how much of it would be necessary.
Steve?
Mr. Chair, again, I'm going to jump in here. I appreciate that if you wanted to look at what we are proposing to do, the percentage numbers on here are not,
No.
the percentage numbers of these, this map is not intended to say this is our plan.
Right.
Per se. This map is in here actually as sort of a bridging document, for lack of a better word, that says that we got ourselves to a point of learning that in order to even make progress on the nitrogen, if we went down a wastewater sewering path, this is the percentage of the areas we would have to do. And in fact, this is almost like a benchmark that drove this predecessor committee and this committee to be looking at every other possible way, because we said we can't afford to sewer this entire area.
Right.
So I think this document is a whole document and stands. Now, maybe there's a word or a sentence someplace that could have been better or whatever, but I wouldn't rebuild this right now. This, in fact, is a powerful tool to keep saying, why are we doing everything else? Because otherwise, this is the area we'd have to sewer, and we can't do it.
Right.
Good.
Right. Absolutely right.
Here we go. Well,
Okay.
I just, maybe later on, we'll come up.
You want to hold that one? Okay, so now, we finished up executive summary, we're now into the section called introduction. Now, the first part
I'd
of
like to
it,
take out the first thing up to the first comma about the retreat of the glacier in the last ice age. Can I get a second?
On this meeting.
the glacier's going to be back by the time we finish reviewing this.
I think the glaciers up later on when we get to the stuff about global warming, but we're going to wait till we get to that section to get the ice age back in.
It was actually 15,000 years ago, not 20. So, but I'm not making that as a motion. I'm going to leave it alone.
This is now
Can we strike the phrase some,
preamble, right?
This is now
This
a
is
preamble, right?
now the preamble.
do you want to strike the
Right,
phrase some
okay.
20,000 years
And
ago?
we're done with
That's
it.
right.
Moving on.
All right.
Breakfast is coming.
All right.
Okay, now,
So,
so we'll deal with these numbers even though they will be changed as far as the section headings. But 1.2, report background and purposes, this is again kind of regurgitation of old stuff.
and
All of
this
this
is fine.
And
It's clear review.
I don't mind floating along, and if anybody sees a page that they've picked something out on, stop us, but
I would like to make to just question something on the first numbered paragraph on 1.2. Did the review committee not mention IA toilets at all?
What?
no, we did.
Yes,
We
you
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then it should be then there. 'Cause they're-
Wait, you just
Sorry.
said numbered paragraphs in
Where are you?
1.2. There are no numbered paragraphs in 1.2.
1.2, there's a numbered paragraph number 1.
Page 1.
Page 1.2,
Page
Oh,
1.2,
page 1.
numbered paragraph,
paragraph 1.
paragraph 1. It mentions everything else except IA toilets.
Urine diverting toilets, composting, packaging, and urine diverting toilets.
And what's
What's
missing?
the other one?
It doesn't mention IA toilets there, and I'm just wondering, did they mention them in that report?
IA toilets, or,
We don't
you
have
mean
that.
IA systems?
I don't mean IA toilets, I mean IA systems, yes.
Denitrifying systems?
Denitrifying systems, yeah.
I think we
Were they mentioned by the
Item
committee?
3,
Yeah, 'cause they're in the green
installation of
sheet.
If they're in the green sheet, they were part of the committee, okay.
Yeah.
So we,
Just add
Yeah.
denitrifying systems.
Look at, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
point 3.
Yep.
Where the installation of sewers are non-traditional alternatives. I think somewhere along the line, we change I and A to non-traditional, and we keep on going back and forth on that terminology.
Yes.
okay.
But the first numbered paragraph has this list of explicit, fairly specific things.
Yeah.
That's quite comprehensive, except that it leaves out denitrifying.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so the motion is to add denitrifying
Right.
septic systems
Right, to that list.
Where?
to after, so we'll
You
take
got
out the "and" of urine diverting toilets and put in "and denitrifying septic systems."
That sounds like a motion. Second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Okay, and we have one typo on this preamble. It's the very next to last line. Comprehensive wastewater, it says treatment plan, it should be management plan.
Where are you?
Where's that?
Page
before.
1, 3, the last sentence of the preamble, comprehensive wastewater, it says treatment plan, it should be management plan.
Wastewater management plan, you're right.
Right.
Either that or we put a T on the end of plan to make it a treatment plant.
What? That's your kind of typo.
There you go. Okay, bring it down, Todd. All right, 1.3, anything else on page 1.3? Or 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, 1-7, 1-8,
I have one small comment.
yeah.
The first sentence, it is noted that these percentages represented, I would just like to put in the word only, you know.
Only one of the many possible.
Yeah, English suggests that it might be better.
Everybody okay with only?
We're on 1-8, what part?
Very
First
first line.
I move that we put the word only after the word represents and before the word one.
That's been made and,
Yes, that's right.
made and seconded. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, second paragraph, there's some new text that got carried over. Two people picked it up.
Yeah, right.
There's statements in there, it's about halfway down, it starts off with the line stringent limits.
Hmm.
And then the next word it goes, and can only be met by sewering large portions.
Oh, we take that out. That's coming out.
Advanced wastewater treatment and careful recharge, blah, blah, blah. So I would strike the remaining portion after stringent limits.
Just leave stringent limits in, yeah, okay, good.
Fine, yeah, okay. We okay with that? Nice.
So
Good-
moved.
Good catch.
Yeah, two people in the committee pointed that out in the comments.
All right.
That paragraph ends with limits.
Not to nitpick here, but the beginning sentence of that same paragraph suggests that the Mass Estuaries projects were only for the time period 2003 to 2004. I think some of them are later than that.
Well, that's when the data was collected, right?
Really, for every one of these? Because they were undertaking new MAP studies
Yeah, all the way along.
sooner than that, later than
Maybe,
that.
They tended to gather their data all at one time and then mine it at different times. I think the main point here was that it's
Where's that?
dated.
We got that.
Yeah, and it is dated. yeah.
Okay, well, I'll leave it alone. Page 1.9.
I have one small change, just to change the word in bullet 4, and number 4 at the top of the page, 3 and 4, through a memorandum of agreement.
oh, yes, right.
Let's change that,
Oh, agreement, right.
just to get things straight.
Good point. Okay. That's 4. Memorandum of understanding becomes memorandum of agreement. We got that? Okay. Anything else on 1.9?
Let's see.
110? 1-11?
Just on the public review and public participation program, is this specifically related to the review committee? Only?
No, this goes back to 2007.
Okay, right.
This goes all the way
okay.
through, yeah.
All right, so,
Goes back 15,000 years.
Maybe 20.
You might go forward.
I'm just wondering whether the, like the eco-toilet summits and those things should be added in here.
The context here is historical.
But he's right, though. The history stops in 2009, as far as this is concerned, because,
The review committee was 2000.
well, you're right, you got the review committee, but you're right.
So the question is whether there should be a number 11 that includes the formation of this committee? Is that what you're suggesting?
Number 10 does it.
10
formation.
includes us, but you
Oh,
were
yes,
talking about
it
other
does.
things.
I
That
was talking
goes-
about the eco-toilet summits that were organized for the community.
Actually, there's been a few summits organized, those and then the Green CWMP.
All right,
Couple of those.
those.
I would suggest that at the very first line of 1.5, after the word, which have the outreach programs, I say, public outreach program involving but not limited to.
Good,
Yeah.
Involving but not limited to.
so we don't leave anybody out, yeah.
Yeah, so anybody that we've slighted, we can say
Right.
that they were not,
Right.
they were part of the not limited to.
Plus, this does say the town is conducted, and those were conducted by
Right,
private folks,
right.
so we're okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah,
I'd
Steve?
just like to point out to everyone that in 1 hour and 50 minutes, we have done 1/8 of an inch out of 3/4 of an inch.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to point out that it's always like that. The first hour and a half is the slowest part, and then it picks up.
I'd like to point out that we've been at this for 15,000 years.
And just so everybody knows, I brought some food if you begin to.
We will get
Begin to run out of
faster as the
energy.
night goes by, I can tell you
We're
that.
wasting time.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
1-11, anything else on 1-11? 1-12, 1-13, all right. Next section here, summary of previous documents prepared for the Falmouth CWMP project. This is once again regurgitation of old stuff. Shoot.
It is regurgitation of old stuff. I have something I would like to, maybe it'd be best if I just pass around this, because it contains a whole lot of small changes, tiny changes, which I think may or may not be important. You may not agree with me on that, but I just want everybody to have them available to you. I think you have a copy of it already, Nate.
Do you have, how many more do you have?
I don't have enough to give everybody.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Let's see, it's got-
Yeah, if we have to share, we can.
We have plenty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I listed throughout.
Yeah,
I listed pages 2.1 to 210. This section contains the use of many tense constructions not consistent with its purpose of summarizing previous documents prepared for the CWMP project. that are now largely
All
superseded.
right, well, let's keep going page by page. So what have you got on page 2-1?
Could I please just take a look at this, because all through the thing, if we get agreement that this kind of thing needs to be done, then we could,
Well, I think I'm going to exercise the prerogatives of the chair and keep going page by page, because, if we start deviating
Okay.
from that and start passing around different pages, we're going to screw ourselves up.
okay. Paragraph
If
2.1,
I
line
can,
two.
if I can,
Yeah.
I would like to suggest that, I'm going to sort of jump on board with my colleague to the far right here, that in the interests of time,
Yeah.
I think this is a very helpful listing of some, what I would call grammatical corrections that need to be made, but are not substantive changes. So if it pleases the chair, I would suggest that where there are grammatical changes to make it correct, or there are typos that need to be corrected, that they can be just, that they are.
Well, there are some of each in here. How do you?
No, you got to turn over to this page here, sir,
Got it.
okay?
Oh, these.
So he's listed in the section,
Well, these are all typos, I'll give
a
you that.
number of tense changes to make everything in either the
Okay,
past
well,
perfect,
certainly,
third
everything that's
person plurific or
grammatical is
something.
fine with me.
So that was his suggestion, that these
Fine.
summary of grammatical changes be incorporated, and I would suggest that, I so move that they be incorporated.
This one page.
This
Oh, just-
paragraph
just-
2.1 to
2.6.
2.63, which all have to do with
Okay.
with-
This is on the second
with
page
grammar.
of Wynn's material,
grammar, not
the
substance.
top 3/4 of it. Everything above the Unitarian
Yes.
Universalist.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
All right. Those are all
those are grammatical.
grammatical and spelling, and we're okay with those, everybody?
I've put a motion up there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, they're in two groups.
Yes, there's more.
The changing from the past perfect to the past, I could care less about. That's halfway down. But then he gets into changing would to will, and I want to study one of those to see what he's doing there.
Okay. That's good. Should we wait till we get there to that?
See what we're getting into here.
Yeah, because I'm willing to go along with this motion up through all the ones having to do with the past, because obviously we're not going to change the past.
All right. Are you accepting an amendment to your motion?
I am. That was the intent of my original motion, was to correct grammar, not change
Okay.
content.
So to the
Well-
extent the grammar changes,
Okay, I just want you to point out that one of his recommendations on 2.2.4 is to omit a sentence.
Yes.
And so you need to be, which,
My motion was not intended to take every one of his recommendations, but to say that those recommendations in here, that any recommendations, maybe this is a blanket thing for the whole document, any typos or grammar revisions that are necessary to this document shall be made as required, but no substantive change will be made without us going through it.
okay, well, that's a reasonable position. No one has objection to that? Okay, so, fine.
So do we need to go through it one by one or not?
Well, okay, I'm really kind of stuck on the idea of doing this in my order and not Wynn's order, because Wynn's order is all over the lot.
right.
We're on page, we're on
So we're on
page
page
2-1.
2-1. Take a look through your stuff, Wynn, and everybody else take a look at 2-1, see what you find, and bring it up.
All right, I have 2.1, line 2, paragraph 2.1, line 2, were for have been. These reports were used to.
Okay, I can't find that, but go ahead, keep.
Second line in
These reports
2.1.
Were you, okay, instead of have been, you got were,
Yeah,
okay?
and a lot of changes occur of that kind. On paragraph 2.21, line 1, instead of impact reports have recommended, impact report recommended. At line 5, item 5, line 1, that's on the next page.
With all due respect, Wynn,
Yeah.
I think that we should not be spending time on making these tense changes. I don't think it really advances the idea as a whole.
The reason I thought it might be worthwhile is because it's inconsistent within these 10 pages. Sometimes it's one thing, sometimes it's another.
Well,
And,
How about if we asked Sia to look through and make grammatical changes?
if it jars you.
Would that be reasonable?
That would be reasonable
I don't think
enough,
we
I
need a
mean,
group of 7 to.
Seven.
I was just jarred
Right.
by the fact that there were
Yeah.
wandering tenses and things like that in here.
Yeah,
And only in this one, only in this
I
one
do
section?
think we
I think
should-
there are more important things for SIA to do than changing past perfect to past.
Well, there's certainly more important things for us to do.
Right.
But,
So I would just like to concentrate on Wynn's recommendations where he says omit a sentence.
Right.
Okay.
Or where he clearly changes the intent of the sentence. So I would say 2.2.1, last sentence, omit.
That's on next page.
Okay.
All right, that's where we need to be talking.
all right, nothing else on 2-1, page 2-1? Okay. Page 2-2.
All right. Which sentence?
It's at the bottom of it's at bottom 2.2.1, the last sentence. This large level of wastewater nitrogen removal indicates the need for sewer extension in this area.
You agreed to that before, basically.
This is the planning history.
You could have said indicated, but why not just remove the sentence?
Want to remove the sentence?
Yeah, or indicated, remove the sentence after that, is that what, that's what I was saying.
This large level of wastewater nitrogen removal indicates the need for sewer extensions there. We're removing that sentence.
That's right.
Okay, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Good? Got it.
And
I have some points on 2.2.2, which is the level of treatment, 439,000 gallons a day and 26,000 gallons of septage. I think we have newer numbers.
This was previous documents again. We do have newer numbers.
This is the
Previous
old, this is
documents.
a review of old documents.
Okay, so it's, okay, well,
Right. I had a comment too. which is-
All right.
which is newer, but-
okay. Anything else on 2-2?
Well, that doesn't refer to any previous document, it just, it's a statement. The Blacksmith Shop Road
No,
is
but the
located.
heading,
Chapter
is
two.
the section
Two
of the
is the
chapter.
summary.
Look at the title of the, yeah,
Project.
doesn't say which
Yeah.
document.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
sentence is, it doesn't say that some report says that, it just says it's the case.
It says it's true, yeah.
But it's a summary of previous documents. It's not a summary of a current document, other than settlement agreement.
It misled me when I looked at it.
I
Yeah.
think it's dangerous to leave a completely wrong number in there, on something as important as that.
You could say that the previous document said that.
Yeah, how about that? At the time of the previous study, it received and treated 439 gallons a day.
As reported.
As reported.
I mean, it doesn't say, although this was reported, in fact, now it's something else.
There's a lot of things like that that change. The whole concept of the previous study has changed to a certain extent.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know.
three-quarters of this is unnecessary for the purposes of what
Yes,
we're trying to do and what the state wants to know about, but it's all here.
it's all here.
Right, well, and in fact, in this very section, the last sentence of 2.2.2 is, the town is currently awaiting the effluent discharge permit. By the time this document hits the street, we will have the discharge permit.
Maybe tomorrow.
So you again get back to this time sequence
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah,
When it was
yeah,
written,
yeah.
it was true, and if we start updating
Right.
everything.
No, you are right.
We're gonna,
Okay, well, 2.2, I'll withdraw my idea. Anybody else want to, anything on 2-2? Okay, 2-3? 2-4?
Excuse me,
Well, this
excuse me,
is-
224, yeah.
Wynn has
Yeah,
something
yeah,
on line
mhm.
6 that I don't think he means.
Line 6?
Page
2.2, page 2.3, section 2.2.4, line 6,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
says, the way it says now is, these removals are very large and will require extensive sewering and advanced wastewater treatment, and he simply wants to change it to and/or advanced wastewater treatment. Advanced wastewater treatment is not alternatives and innovative systems. It means
That
an
was-
advanced central plant.
Yeah, and
How about will require advanced wastewater treatment? Or does that, would that?
yeah, of some kind.
2.2.4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, line 6.
and the wording will be, will require extensive sewering.
Well, again, it's whether you're,
may
going
require...
to get out of it by saying this is the past document that's wrong, and you stupid reader should know that? Or you're worried that someone is going to take this as the
Right.
truth?
Well, I would take out the line that says will require extensive sewering,
Yes.
and leave it with will require advanced wastewater treatment. Is that fair?
Removals at large and will require advanced wastewater treatment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
covers.
Okay. That's
broad
fine,
enough.
yeah.
So extensive sewering's out. Everybody okay with that?
And I didn't understand the last sentence, and I thought it should be eliminated. These percentages correspond.
Well, I mean, you could put eco toilets in everybody's house.
Yeah.
That's not advanced wastewater treatment.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
The problem is we're messing with a,
Yeah,
with a former report.
With something from the past, yeah. This
Well,
is
what
the-
if there was something at the beginning of this
That's-
section
Yes,
saying,
I think that's,
caution, dear reader,
right.
skip this chapter?
Now you're talking.
Again,
Actually-
I'm going to jump in here because I think what's happened here is Nate was tasked to take all the directions we've gone and to take what was previously put together and do a certain amount of editing to make it work. And so the exercise here of trying to make the summary of previous documents, this whole chapter, there are elements that have been woven in here that, like the town is currently awaiting the effluent discharge permit. Was true before, but it's still true now. And this is back to the whole sensitive to tense of it or not. So perhaps at the start of each one of these sections, it needs to say the previous report at that time stated, and then let the paragraph run from there.
Yeah.
Because that's what it did. I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting hung up on the fact that each one of these
That's
paragraphs was in the previous report, almost pretty close to the same words, Nate, right? I mean, not a lot's been changed. These are almost verbatim words from the previous
They are,
report.
word for word.
So it's like each paragraph should almost start by saying, no action alternative. In the report of whatever, this was, in the needs assessment report or whatever it was, the report stated the following, and then put it in quotation marks or whatever.
Yeah, I
So
like
each
that.
one of these paragraphs is clearly seen.
I like the earliest one. The same phrase for all of them. In previous
Yeah.
reports, it was stated.
Yeah.
I started out saying, why is this here? And I would like to ask Nate a question. Is basically this summary contained in one of the earlier reports? Could we simply reference the place in the earlier report where it was and say, refer to it if you want to know what these earlier reports said? Would that be possible? Just eliminate this entire section. That's where I started off. But
That's not bad. I like that. And
I spent an hour figuring out.
Yeah, exactly. By the end of your exercise, you finish. What do you think?
Basically, be a paragraph that says, refer to the needs assessment and the alternative screening report done in such and such a date.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah,
and then you don't,
Or you come back to the first sentence for the section is good. It says, "The purpose of this chapter is to briefly summarize the findings of the reports and documents from it." So perhaps there's, like, I'll go to the Steve Layton school here. Perhaps that first sentence needs to say, "The reader is cautioned that everything you read in here has been modified or changed by other portions of this draft recommended plan, and is only here to remind readers of what was previously said." But it's,
how about this is a historical reference to
The further
previous
away you can
reports?
put- I mean,
Well,
Mr.
I'm not gonna take the
Wynn's
time
question
quibbling
was,
between throwing it away
is there any
completely or-
requirement from the people who were submitting this to at the state that this section be here? Or can it be referenced from, as part of an earlier iteration?
There is a requirement that a CWMP go through these sort of evaluations of the needs assessment, alternative screening analysis. So this is summarizing work that's been done in the past, and it's summarizing it briefly, because those actual reports are included on a disk in the appendix. And we could just say, go to the disk.
Yes, yes.
Like they would.
But what do you
Yes.
expect them to read?
I had thought there was probably a section in the others that actually did this summary.
No, I like, exactly what you just sort of said, Nate. That's actually what this thing should be saying. You should say, you know, it's required for this plan to have a needs assessment. That was done in this previous section. These are all the previous reports were done. If you want to go read the needs assessment, it's on the disk.
If we can do that, let's do it.
Or it goes to the back somewhere as an appendix.
Well, you've got that whole second volume.
It's already in,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
And this could go to the second volume.
Could we put this section in that back volume?
we would just say that all of this information is on a disk, because the whole needs assessment report is already there on a disk.
And that's acceptable to the regulators?
It will cause somebody a little bit of angst, because it isn't neatly summarized for them, but I think they'll get over it.
Mr. Chairman?
I mean,
Steve.
you know, it's
But-
to please everybody.
Nate, but then you're saying that, I mean, some of this stuff we disagree with, we think it's wrong, but it's okay to use that as our needs assessment?
What's
It
this?
was the
We didn't
needs
have to pay you,
assessment
we
back
could
then.
just copy out of a comic book and put it in here, you know, other wrong things, and say that's our needs assessment.
This was the needs assessment that was published and given to the state. It's history. It may not be accurate in some respects, but it is what was published. And I don't think the intent was to go back and redo it. So you do one or two things, refer to it, or we work a little bit more to come up with a one-page summary that sort of says that was a historical document, however, things have changed, and not necessarily
Right.
get into it.
I mean, can we put it, can't we just put it, you know, thing is that I think even when I was reading it, I started to get into it and thought, oh, wait a minute, is this, what's this all about? But is it something that can go back here and refer to? Or is the structure, the table of contents of this report, I've not seen that outline, is that in there? It says, and they expect this section to be where it is, as it is.
It can be changed, it can be shrunk. I think that there just needs to be some reference in this document that previous documents have been completed, and the interested reader can find them
Okay.
in Appendix 2-1,
Okay.
which is the CD.
Again, that's your recommendation to this committee.
I'm answering somebody's question of what could be done.
Okay, let me ask you for your professional recommendation as the author of this report, what we should do with this section.
I think that we should put a little bit of a disclaimer in the front paragraph that says these are historic documents, and this is this is a summary of what was created at that time.
Okay, does that sound okay?
And I want to apologize, Nate, I didn't mean that you didn't do good work or that you wrote a comic book. I didn't mean that at all.
Hilda's left.
Hilda's gone, she wrote a comic book. Okay, so we're okay with that? Is everybody
Okay.
good with that?
So it basically, these
That whole-
9 pages will be condensed down to something that's on one page.
No, I think, no, he was going to put a disclaimer at the beginning.
Disclaimer at the beginning.
Disclaimer at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
That just states these,
These are
summary of
these are historical
documents that
and-
have gone on before.
Oh, okay, all right,
Okay.
so it stays, all
So
right.
that takes care of section 2. Now we get public participation in outreach programs, section 3.
Although it's a summary, are we going to take out what some people call inflammatory sentences? Yeah, some of those sentences seem worthwhile to take out.
Right.
Well, we've had 2 motions to take out 2 things, both
Yeah.
of which said something about extensive sewering.
Right, those are the most inflammatory, I think, are out. If
Yes.
there's any other usually inflammatory ones?
Yeah, okay.
The
and
disclaimer
we'll let
should cover it.
Nate and Sia and myself and everybody else try to
All right.
catch the rest.
Okay,
If there are.
but yeah, don't spend
Okay.
too much time on it since we've got our disclaimer going on here,
Right,
so,
right.
so good.
All right,
And we may want to reference in the beginning of each paragraph, just to make it clear, like, the shop road, that at the time of the previous study, it was.
Yeah.
Well, that was Steve's suggestion,
Yeah.
so we can have, we can have belt and suspenders here. You can have a disclaimer at the beginning, and you can put these initial phrases too. So. Public participation outreach program, page 3-1. I only have one issue on that, which is on the very last paragraph. Nutrient Management Working Group was established in 2007, not 2009, I think.
Yes, I think so.
It's late.
yeah. Was that true?
Page 3-1.
They were the ones that came up with the 2009
Yes,
report.
and in fact, at the
which-
very end, it says the group was active from 2007 to 2009.
So,
So that's a typo.
And the abbreviations are different, NMWG, and at the top it says NMG.
good point.
Right.
All right. This is basically historical material, I don't think it needs anything else from us.
This is, in this meeting.
Page 3-3, I have a
Okay,
small change.
3-3.
I think that Priscilla's Moore's, we should capitalize her last name, but she could, only because she was sort of.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
that's a good idea.
Oh, and Favuli isn't spelled right either.
Yeah.
F-A-V.
Oh, it isn't. She does not have two U's.
F-A-V.
Fahouli.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on page 3.3-3? How about 3-4?
Well, this pertains to the last item, 3.8, where there were, I mean, there's a long list here of meetings that start at the bottom.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering if you wanted to add things like the T-Ticket Civic Association and the, I don't know, precinct meetings or?
All meetings.
Yeah, 3.8, meetings with community regional groups.
And the other ones that were done, the Eco Toilet Summits, things like this that were done.
I'm not sure if the name of the group is Old Dock Association, aren't we talking?
It is.
Old
It
Dock?
is.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else here?
What are the?
Wynn wanted it to say,
Okay.
the Unitarian
Yeah, no,
Universalist
3.5,
Fellowship,
yeah,
whatever, right?
and,
Was it-
yeah,
what- what-
3-5, yeah. Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Falmouth is its proper name.
Yeah, they've done that again.
So are we going to add a bullet that says,
We have precinct meetings, or we have Eco Toilet Summits?
that we're not at precinct meetings, but I think the eco-toilets, there were 2 eco-toilet summits, right?
Right.
Yes, there were.
I think that should say that.
And then there were other,
Sewer socials, they
Yeah,
talked about
those-
them.
Some of these
That's
things
mentioned, yeah.
Mentioned.
That's
And that's what
mentioned.
these
Mr.
are.
Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the lead in line says some of the
Some.
groups.
Oh, true,
So I don't believe this is intended to be an inclusive list.
true enough.
It's just meant to
Right.
highlight that meetings were held with various groups.
Right, fair enough. I would also note League of Women Voters and 300 Committee are two separate items and probably deserve their own line, if you're going to have them both in there.
is newcomers one word or 2 words?
I thought it was one. Newcomers
That's what I thought.
Club, or something, whatever they,
Yeah.
I don't know. But you're right, it isn't everybody, and it certainly isn't everybody lately. Anything else?
Okay, good.
Anything else on page 3-5?
Do you guys want, excuse me,
Yes.
would you like to have the eco toilet summits listed here? You brought it up a few times, I'm just trying to figure out what we decided we want to add.
Well, are they groups that have requested and had meetings?
They had meetings.
They're not a-
Be careful, be
They're not a
careful, be
group.
careful, because
a meeting.
there's a distinction between things that the town has formally done through either
Yeah.
the previous
Right.
DPW
Yeah.
configuration or the committee, as opposed to a number of groups in town who have been interested and have had their
Right.
own meetings to which members of the board have attended or
That's-
members have attended.
you're
So this is-
absolutely right.
This is a list of, it starts off by talking, has the town collaborate with the Faces Group and convene and attend meetings. Some of them are, and I believe that this is again, a little bit of a historical listing of how that occurred before, if I recall what was done, right? That was the intent here, not to list every meeting that's ever been had, but to describe that formally for the,
Mr. Chairman?
Steve?
To follow up on Steve just says right, and if you wanted to put in the Eco Toilet Summit, they'd properly go in section 3.1, which is the different kinds of meetings that we have, as opposed to the groups that requested meetings. But it doesn't matter that neither list has to be absolutely complete. DEP is not going to say, ha-ha, you had a meeting and you didn't tell us about it. You were even more outreaching than you admit to.
Right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Anything else on 3-5?
Do we, excuse me,
Yeah.
do we have anything about your meetings have been televised? That's something
Yeah, that
unique
is
in
something.
public
Yeah,
outreach.
that was televised, appears in there somewhere.
Okay.
I saw the word.
If you're happy,
We've reached out, televised presentations to the Board of Selectmen, This is, I hate to do this, but this is the few pages that say there's been a public participation program, everybody is happy.
Right. All right, nothing else on 3-5? 3-6? All right. Next section, 4, non-traditional wastewater and nitrogen management methods and evaluations to develop demonstration projects. Anything on page 4-1?
Yeah, the funny typo in the first line of the last paragraph. That's where Virginia got her idea for a preamble.
Oh, a preamble barrier.
Permeable, I see.
The last paragraph.
Okay.
First
Oh, the
line.
last
You're absolutely right.
Oh, yeah, preamble barrier, okay, there we go, yeah.
Okay, we got that?
All right.
Page 4.2. Item number 8 has tau sites as opposed to 2 sites. I think we want to fix that. And more significantly, we want to mention that there's one in West Falmouth.
so we say West Falmouth, the South Coastal Watersheds and West Falmouth.
Right.
Okay.
Number 8, recommended 2 sites for PRB demonstration project. Parentheses, South Coastal Watershed and West Falmouth.
Right, that was one of the.
I would just say, I would just make it a full sentence, recommend 2 sites for PRB demonstration projects, one in the South Coastal Watershed and the other in West Falmouth Harbor, West Falmouth Harbor Watershed.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else on 4-2? 4-3.
I made a thing, but I think probably it can stay as it is. And when I think about it, it's true that not all of the nitrogen which is in urine and feces would be taken out by eco-toilets, especially if you use UD toilets.
Right.
So it might as well stay as it is.
Okay. 4-3, anything else, Nate?
Yeah, 4-3, notice of project, about second paragraph down, should refer to chapter 9 instead of 4.
Oh, yeah. Right there, chat, where it says, that
Oh,
should be a
noted
9.
project, right.
That's a
Gotcha.
9.
Okay, good.
On page 4-3, I ran into a problem. This Phase 1, and on the next page, Phase 2, don't correspond quite to what we now have in the RFP and what we are doing. And I tried to correct that. I tried a simple way to correct it. I could go to a lot of work and try to submit something that would be better, but see if this simple thing would do. First of all, on the 4th paragraph of that page,
Which page are you on?
on page 4.4-3.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th paragraph, line 2. Am I in the right place?
Read a
No,
little bit.
it's actually the 5th paragraph. They have developed, instead of a cooperative agreement, say a memorandum of agreement, in parentheses, MOA. Substitute that for a cooperative agreement. It helps a little bit later.
Okay.
And paragraph line 3, the same paragraph on line 3, omit to assist. I don't think, it doesn't seem to, seems to me,
Yeah,
just
you're right.
stop there. And substitute an RFP for a scope.
Okay.
That's just, that'll make it a little easier to make the other corrections that I
Okay.
have next.
So the next line, you want to get rid of scope too, right?
Excuse me?
In the next sentence, you want the word scope
Steps of
to
the
become
scope.
our.
Yeah, that's my next change,
Okay, so we got 4 changes there. Everybody on board with those?
right?
Sure.
Replace that sentence, the steps of the scope, with the tasks to be accomplished under the MOA and the RFP are briefly listed below under 2 headings. And then I want to take out of the headings reference to Phase 1 and simply have the heading.
Well, that might be a little more, is there some substantive reason for that?
Yeah, because phase one and phase
Okay.
two are,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's
We worked very hard and concluded,
Okay, let's hear about it.
right, so let's just keep working it through.
So what's the change?
just a reference, take that one parentheses, phase one out, and just have project design and implementation planning.
Eliminate the words phase one, and then
Okay.
on the next page, phase.
Gotcha.
Take that phase
Okay.
two out.
And they are on Wynn's handout for those of you that are trying to capture them all.
Right.
Okay, oh, that's good, okay.
And I would say, this doesn't completely solve the problem of of changing it, but I think it's quite sufficient for what we need now.
Yeah.
The bullets are okay as they are, they don't quite represent things.
Well, you got 4-4 at the very bottom, you got your phase 1 and 2 again, I thought you wanted.
Yes, that's the one thing that still needs to be changed.
That's right. And then that final three lines
So how do
of
we change
the,
it?
Okay,
but very-
here's my suggestion,
Yeah.
that you simply put those dates into the title line. So back on the previous page, 1, project design and implementation plan, parentheses, 2012,
There you go.
okay?
where are we now?
Back on page 4.3,
4.2 or 4.3?
4.3, the one that reads
Page
project
4.3.
design and implementation plan.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, put it right here.
So you indicate what year it's going to have,
Put
2012.
2012 in there.
Up there, right.
And then manage implementation demonstration project, parentheses,
Have to move to the next
2013.
page.
And then we
Put a
delete
date
the,
here.
And then you delete the timeline, blah, blah, blah.
It doesn't quite do it, but
It's close enough.
it's close enough, I suppose, yeah. Because we're starting the managing right now, for example, and
Sure, yeah, you did.
but we need to get something that's a little bit better than that.
Right.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, we're now on page 4-5, on-site Unite systems and their components.
I just want to make the point that, make sure everybody agrees, that we're going, in 4.2, on the all eco toilets, Wynn just made sure that we were very accurate to exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And now we're jumping into things where we're not accurate at all. I mean, we really have no specific plan, which is true, and that's okay, right? But
Yep. No, it's true, we're further ahead on some of these things than we are on others, and this,
And we're not very accurate in this statement on the eco-toilets either, but that.
And
we don't have to
because
worry about
that's
that.
one of the newer ideas that is part of this, I think it's important to be as up-to-date as we can be without making a big deal about it.
okay. So 4-5, page 4-5, any other? Okay, page 4-6,
I just have a point on this.
oh, 4-5?
No, 4-6.
Oh, 4-6,
Yeah,
okay.
which is
What
the
do you got?
beginning of it.
Yeah.
It's the same section.
Yeah.
These figures that are given, like 5 to 10%, and, I mean, that's correct in terms of the total nitrogen or controllable nitrogen.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, I mean, if, for example, half of the nitrogen has to be removed, and you're able to control 5 to 10% of the fertilizer, then it would be actually 10 to 20% of the portion to meet the TMDL. So it becomes a bigger component in terms of what we're trying to do. So how we explain that, because I think that's kind of missed a lot, that people see this number and they say, oh, it's only 5%, or it's only 10%, well, it could be 20%, that's a big deal, as far as the control, what needs to be controlled. So I'm not sure exactly how that goes in here, but that's what the fertilizer program would be working on, meeting the TMDL.
Do you by controllable, you mean that it's not from the atmosphere?
Or the benthos,
Yeah, okay.
or,
Okay.
yeah, what else do we have? Yeah. So I'm just thinking of that the weight of this is big, could be larger than what's seen here.
Is
And-
this
and-
from the MEP? I'm sorry.
Comment?
Yeah.
Steve, Virginia. Lost.
Your concern is that what shows is 5 to 10% could be larger, and you're saying it could be as much as 20%, but you're making it on the supposition that only 50% of the wastewater had to be removed. And that's not a good supposition.
No, that's right, no, I understand. What I'm saying is 50% of the nitrogen has to be removed, not the wastewater.
Well, you're saying, you're saying if 50% of the nitrogen has to
Right,
be removed.
that's right, from all sources.
But that's not how we're,
Right. Mr. Chair, I'm going to make a
that's
suggestion
not
here.
the metric that
Yeah.
everybody is working on.
Rather than get caught up in this, if we took this very first sentence and retained the phrase, "The figures indicate that fertilizers contribute 5 to 10% of the controllable nitrogen source entering these watersheds," period. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep going.
And scratch off, "While wastewater contributes 74 of the controllable nitrogen source entering the watersheds." Right?
Yeah. What does that do for us?
I don't think you can do that.
I'm just trying to, I think I'm scratching everything out all the way to the end of this paragraph.
Isn't this, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
The summary of the MEP in the previous findings? Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, all these things came from the
Yes.
report.
That's right.
You know, and we fall back into maybe they're accurate, maybe they're not, maybe they're high, maybe they're low.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Jerry, stick with me if I can. This thing here is saying fertilizer management is something we're looking at.
Correct.
And there's a summary of the loads, and there's some summary of this other stuff. Comparing all of a sudden the relative value of the fertilizers to other sources
I got you.
is unnecessary. And it
Right.
goes back to Ron's accounting thing, which we really haven't tackled about if we can do
Okay.
this here and do that there, and how much should we change. You know,
Right.
the numbers
Right.
shift around, there's a
Right.
whole rubric.
Right,
but-
right.
so-
All right, let's skip the whole paragraph.
So after you just put a period at the end of watersheds,
You don't need it.
everything out to the end of the paragraph goes away.
Fine.
All this sort of like back and forth
Okay.
comparing part A to part B.
Are we good with that?
Wait, you're getting rid of the entire rest of the paragraph?
Absolutely.
He's just keeping
Good,
the
because
sentence.
that gets rid of a weird grammatical thing in the last line.
He's
Yeah,
keeping,
yeah, it does.
he's keeping the part about fertilizer. This whole section is supposed to
All
be
about
about
fertilizer, it's
fertilizer.
not about nitrogen. The town's controlling fertilizer.
I just read that.
You're laughing at us. All right, that's a motion, I think.
Okay, so the period comes after the word watershed.
I moved to put a period after the word watershed and strike out everything to, all the way to the TMDL.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Good. All right.
Look, but I'd just like to come back to the later point. All of these alternatives and all these options that we're looking at are going to be could take chunks out of the amount of nitrogen,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And I just feel that the 5 to 10% can be deceptive. And some people say, we were in a meeting with the Community Preservation Committee, said, well, we understand that all that stuff amounts to only 16%. Well, if you only have, of the total nitrogen, which is probably correct, and therefore, what's the big deal? But if it happens to be only, like in Green Pond, you only have to remove 50% of the nitrogen from the watershed, and it's 5 to 10%, then it actually, I mean, it's 16% for surface runoff and everything. Now we're talking about 32%.
Yeah, but Green Pond is 74%, not 50. Here's-
Well, either way, we're not
Yeah, right,
relying
right,
on this
right,
paragraph
right.
for anything.
Okay.
And we just get rid of all of it
Okay,
except the
okay.
first sentence anyway.
All right. I think that that's a concept, though, that needs to be brought up
Yes,
somewhere in here.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, as we go estuary by estuary,
Okay.
we're going to have to talk about that, because you're right.
It's odd, because it gets,
Yep.
it's hard to follow even. But,
Okay.
but when talking with Brian House, that was the point he said. He said, you have to remove the nitrogen. How you do it, I'm not going to say.
Right.
But this much has to go,
Okay.
basically. So-
4.6, any further changes to recommend on that? 4.7, or 4-7, page 4-7. Anything else on 4-7? Anything else on 4-8? Anything else on 4-9? Anything else on 4-10?
This is just one, at the top of page 4-9, it starts off by saying, GHD believes that fertilizer management is best. I kind of I was fine about development of all this stuff going, that there's regional servicing, but it sort of,
It certainly is non-current as far as this committee is concerned. We sent a letter in 2008 and never got an answer.
But maybe this is just a little bit of format, Matt, and not to pick on GHD. I was trying to understand here whether GHD was doing all this independent of what we've been doing as a separate contract, or why in here it's talking about GHD having this negotiations back and forth.
This is lifted wholesale from the report through 3 years ago.
Is that what happened?
No.
Yes.
Again?
It's documenting the work that's been done, it's documenting the recommendations that have been made, and this is a recommendation that never really got a whole lot of review or interest on the part of the town, and we made the statement that we feel it's best, there was just the Falmouth Friendly Lawns program kind of died.
Yeah.
Things just kind of died.
Yeah.
And we had to make a recommendation on how it should be done.
Yeah.
And, it was supported by DPW because a letter was written, and the county never got back to us.
I think the addition was
Yeah,
that the selectmen weren't approving the money.
I appreciate all that. What I'm sort of saying is, because he's very aware of what's going on with the composting eco toilets, goes across a page and a half and says, boom, get it all right. We get into this fertilizer management, we start with a summary, and then we get into this sort of like rambling thing about all the different things that have happened with it,
Right.
which has a line that says, somebody believes this or somebody believes that, and it's like, what just happened here? So
Right.
I'd like someplace between town adoption of a bylaw would ban lawn, turf, fertilizer used in nitrogen-sensitive watersheds, 4.4.1.2, which, if you got down to the line that said since 2001, again, I think you could stop right there. I'm back to page 47, folks. It says town adoption of a bylaw that would ban, you go, advantages and disadvantages. Then you have a thing that says since 2001, right? All this stuff about it tied to agreement with golf courses and stuff, I guess could stay in, but I'm not sure what happens with that, right? Because I'm not sure that any of that's really true. And so I suggest that right from where, this point here it says, you list the advantages and disadvantages of adopting a bylaw in the town, folks, right?
Yeah.
Then, from where it says since 2001, right here, okay?
Yeah.
Get rid of everything all the way through to someplace over, we'll say, something about evaluation recommendation. Where are we at? Are we going forward with a bylaw or not? What are we doing?
I have real problems with the evaluation summary and recommendations. There's a new paragraph that's been thrown in here, which makes no sense. The Water Quality Management Committee has since been directed by the Board of Selectmen and the CWMP Review Committee to proceed with a demonstration project for fertilizer management. They continue to proceed.
No.
What the hell is that? Neither one of those
Right,
statements
but-
are true.
No, just my point out is that Eric, all this stuff up to the point about
Yeah.
advantages and disadvantages,
Yeah,
that's a good setup of what's going on.
right.
Stop
right there.
You, I believe, are the fertilizer
The subcommittee, yes.
subcommittee. And-
With Win.
With
Yeah.
Win. And a couple
We-
of times there's been a conversation that somebody's preparing
Right,
something that we're waiting to see what it is.
Right.
What is that?
you're going to have to wait.
Oh, no, I thought the county saw.
What kind of thing is it?
Okay, so,
Well, it's a mix of approaches that we're going to present to the town this fall.
So the summary paragraph that has to go into this plan right now is,
Right.
the Water Quality Management Committee is currently evaluating the proper form of an effective program for the town of Falmouth.
Right.
Yes.
That's all you have to say, because of this other business about the county
Right.
being recommended.
So,
no.
so after disadvantage and advantage of this concept, everything from there going on goes away, and we state the fact that the Water Quality Management Committee
That
is
would be-
currently evaluating the best
Right.
way to implement
Yeah.
fertilizer controls in the town of Falmouth.
Right.
It's very soft, and somebody will come back in their comments and say, what is it?
And plans to bring forth specific recommendations in the fall of 2012. That's accurate.
Yeah,
Completely
put a
delete
timeline.
4.4.1.3.
So we're eliminating 4413, correct?
We're eliminating all of page 4.8 and the top part of page 4.9.
Starting from the bottom of,
It's better if you give the sections
let's
by
go.
their number,
Let's go
not the
section.
pages.
Okay, I'm going to come back to page 4.7.
Last
Okay.
sentence is done.
4.4.1.2, town adoption by that would be in lawn turf fertilizer. We get down, disadvantage of this concept, 3 bullets. The next line should say exactly what we just said, which I can't remember about. The Water Quality Management Committee is currently evaluating.
No, Steve, I don't think that's what you meant. I think you want the last word of 4.4.1.2, the last phrase to be to monitor or verify, period. Then you completely eliminate the next
Wait,
section,
wait, where's the
4.4.1.3, and then under 4.4.1.4, you put what you just said.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the summary.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Steve Lake.
Okay, can we put that in the motion form? Because that sounds good.
Sounds good. I
Sure,
move.
that section 4.4.1.2 end at the phrase to monitor or verify.
That's the end of it.
That's the end.
That's the end of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay,
Everything after
Completely
that.
delete 4.4.1.3,
correct.
Okay,
and then 4.4.1.4,
We substitute.
we substitute words that Steve Rafferty will now tell you.
And repeat it back by Sia. You got
The
it?
Water Quality Management Committee is currently evaluating the optimum, is currently evaluating the form of implementing fertilizer control, and will bring forth a program in the fall of 2012.
right, there you go.
2012, 2012, whatever.
Yeah, well,
Can I,
It-
if it-
Sometime in the Ice Age.
after the ice age. I'm gonna write the sentence out and just email it to everybody. It's not everybody, I'll just email it to Stephen in the morning. Or just, I mean, I've got it, I just want to
yeah,
make sure.
I think you've got it.
You got it, you got it.
It's the least, it's the least.
So moving on to 4.5.
Right.
Oh, do you need a vote?
I think so.
Yeah.
We actually got a motion out there, didn't we? Okay.
Yep.
Moved, seconded, discussed, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good.
Got it.
Good.
So we're halfway, which is good.
No, we are further than that now. We're rolling. Page 4.10. Oh,
4.9.
4-9.
Yeah, I want to follow that, I support Steve's
Oh.
point that we stop the paragraph under 4.5.
You're right, they did it again.
Yeah, I just, starting with wastewater contributes 74 to 84%, the rest of the paragraph should go.
Okay, that's the same thing as last time.
Right.
So moved.
Moved and seconded? Discussion?
Paragraph beginning with the figures goes. And
No,
then
no,
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 no.
it stays up to the word
See where it says wastewater right
watersheds.
there? See where it says
Right, the
wastewater?
first sentence stays, the rest of it goes.
Okay.
Okay, moved, seconded, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. 4-10.
This-
Stormwater management.
Just the, at the very, these two statements at the very top, maybe I misunderstand something on 410. No nitrogen removal credit is given for nitrogen uptake by vegetated areas. So our whole stormwater thing won't give us any credit?
Well,
Currently.
so, current.
Currently?
Why don't we say
All right,
currently?
okay. Oh, currently, okay, all right. Because otherwise it sounds pretty ominous.
Yeah, well, yeah. And if we find that we don't get any credit, we maybe won't do it. But that's, it's on our list of things to do. So their recommendations, well, okay. Yeah, this is reruns from the last
Same,
time.
currently in these two things, okay.
I thought they were good
Yeah,
reruns,
they-
but there's nothing wrong with them.
They are. All right. Okay. 4-11, 4-12, 4-13, okay. 4-13, we're getting into freshwater ponds and impoundments in the current cranberry bog system. That was something that was on the table several years ago. I don't think it's been on the table since the town meeting of April 2011.
And I think the last committee, I think we eliminated it, it was eliminated because we didn't think we had the lamp.
Yeah, and we would have to take it by eminent domain, and
Yeah.
we don't have them. So, are you suggesting that this section be removed completely?
Well, insofar as it represents that it's something we're doing or contemplating, it shouldn't be in, which, this is 4.6 or?
Yeah.
Well, if we've rejected it, shouldn't we say we rejected it?
No, we have not, actually, Mr. Chair, if I can jump in here, my recollection is that we had some discussion around this on the previous committee, and that we didn't pursue it very far because I think we reached a fairly quick conclusion that relative to the portions of the watersheds that were south of Route 28, which is what we're doing a lot of our focus on at that time, there were no substantive areas to do any of this, and that it was really out in the second half of the planning period. So perhaps there's a lead-in paragraph that's missing here that's something that says, you know,
What was called Phase 3.
Yeah, you know, out in the portions where things are, I'm getting tired, so I can't say anything anymore, so I'm going to shut up.
But you got your point across.
But yeah, this stuff should not disappear
Right.
entirely out of our draft plan, because these are things that I would suggest the 300 committee and others, as they look at which parcels may or may not become available over time, the value to the town will remain.
Say, summarize below, it should be considered in future adaptive management projects.
Perfect.
Well, and I would offer that if you go all the way to the end of this section on page 417,
Yes.
Nate's added the paragraph that perhaps needs to be moved more to the front here a little bit, where it says, a demonstration project is likely as nutrient. Sort of what you're trying to get into this here, I think is true. To a certain extent, we've endorsed the concept of these as appropriate for areas outside of the, you know, for areas north of Route 28A and other parts of the town, but not part of the current efforts or whatever. Something like that, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe that statement at the beginning, Nate, and then reiterate it at the end.
What statement?
If you want to,
4.6.4?
4.6.4, if you want that to be accurate, I don't think this committee has ever endorsed this concept. It
No.
never came up here. It is true that the review committee endorsed it,
Yeah,
but didn't send it to town meeting for a number of reasons.
So I would say, the Conservation Wastewater Management Review Committee endorse the concepts of tailwater plants at the ends of Cranberry systems for consideration
Yeah.
in the future, particularly for areas north of Route 28. In the future, particularly for areas north of Route 28. Can I make that as a motion?
Please. Do we have a motion and a second? Let me get, we got a motion?
Oh.
No second?
So, the Comprehensive Waste Management Review Committee endorsed the concepts of tailwater plants at the ends of cranberry bog systems for consideration in the future. Oh, I can't read it in the.
That's fine.
Particularly.
In the future, particularly for those areas north of Route 28. Couldn't read my particularly, yes.
Okay, that's a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay.
But the reason I say for discussion is that actually the CWMP has not discussed, this group has not discussed that issue at all.
Right, I was,
It's, there, I mean,
Right.
Lynn and
Did I
Steve
scratch,
are totally
did I
opposed.
scratch off the wrong acronym?
So, I mean, the original review committee did look at it, but the water quality committee hasn't looked at it
When
at
I,
all.
when I just read this, I had scratched that out. I said, the
Oh.
Comprehensive Wastewater Management.
Oh, okay. So you've
Plan Review
taken-
Committee.
No,
Taken this group
you
out
want
of
to scratch out WQMC.
it. Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
So with that, that's a friendly amendment, so you're okay with
I'm
that?
very friendly with it.
Steve?
I just wanted to point out that in this whole main section 4, there are 2 pages approximately on eco-toilets, which we're pursuing energetically with real money, and over 4 pages on wetlands that we haven't even talked about.
So we've just deleted.
Okay.
All those.
Yeah, I think what you're finding is it's reprinted from the report from
Right.
a couple of years ago when
Right.
these things had a larger role.
No, I didn't hear anyone say they were deleting large parts.
What is
of it.
deleting?
Yeah,
What's
what-
being deleted
Yeah,
here?
well, that's a fair
Actually,
question.
yeah.
Are we going to leave all this, all this business about the bogs in
Well, Steve thought it should stay in
with
for
that?
future,
Okay.
so that people don't forget the
Okay.
information.
So, right, so his amendment was to put this new paragraph he proposed
As
at the head of it.
As a caveat.
And leave it.
Fine.
Maybe at the end of 4.6, the first part of 4.6, there's 3 paragraphs on page 4.12, 4.12.
Is 4.64 going to be the lead to this section?
Yeah, I think it might, well, again, it's sort of in that preamble sort of concept. I think evaluation potential watershed, I'm on 412. 4.6 starts off with a heading that said, these evaluations were originally prepared, right, as a technical member dated 20, attached, and then I would sort of, almost at that point, insert
Yeah.
the former committee endorsed the concepts
464 as
of
we
tailwater ponds, the other,
Right. Is now inserted there.
Right,
and you could say the,
we haven't seen it.
you know,
Yep, yep.
right?
We have
And I summarized
Okay,
below.
so your new paragraph is at the
See
beginning,
it.
right at 4.6, and the rest of it stays because it's there.
Right, and then the old 4.6.4 goes away, because it's been
Right,
moved.
exactly, okay, Ron.
I have a technical issue with this drawing of the kettle hole pond and the whole idea. And to think of it as a nitrogen removing system is kind of a bit of a stretch. And also, the major problem with freshwater ponds, freshwater systems, is it has to do with phosphorus limitations. And the thing is that if we're looking at it as an attenuation way for nitrogen, and we get phosphorus, then we're going to end up with a soup of stuff that is going to die, and it's going to become a mess.
But we're not going to do anything about it for 20 years.
Right, and
No, I know, but the point is that this is kind of an odd,
It is.
technically,
It is
it's
odd.
probably not a good idea. That's what
The reason why it's in there is it's showing the basic science that has been considered by the Estuaries Project as the real reason why you get natural nitrogen attenuation in riparian wetlands, and particularly in ponds. And there's no suggestion that you would discharge up gradient of it or do anything like that. But there is a suggestion that you could create some ponds in old bogs to do this type of thing. And that's the reason why it's shown, is to just kind of show you the science of how all that nitrogen is disappearing in these sort of watershed modifications.
Do we take out kettle hole? I know that's.
Yeah, if we're talking about bogs, we're not talking about kettle holes.
Say wetlands.
well, but I'm going to interject. We found with all of the contamination issues at the base and the U.S. Geological Survey looking at the role of the ponds that were downstream of where some of these plumes were exiting. And actually, there is a lot of biological activity going on in these ponds. And so and they're kettle hole.
Right.
They're all kettle hole ponds. So it's an area that hasn't been pursued a great deal, but I think that there is existing data that will show that kettle hole ponds can actually be of use. It is true that phosphorus is the limiting factor, and that's got to be considered. And I agree with Nate, this is not a suggestion that, okay, we're going to put up a treatment system upstream of a kettle hole pond just so it's affected.
Okay.
But there is something going on. So I think this needs to stay. It has valuable information in here.
Well, I mean, I don't.
Okay, is there a motion to remove it? I don't hear any motions.
Yes, well, I'm just trying to think if I want to make a motion, or I just
Okay, well,
want.
We got to think
okay.
about moving on.
All right, yes, I would say that if it's included in here, then it shouldn't be, as a way, concept of nitrogen attenuation means, it sounds more like an active thing to me, the title underneath it.
Do I have a motion?
I would say, I'd like to rework it, basically, but I can't do it right. I guess I could do it
I have
now.
a simple motion.
All right.
I would suggest that we remove it and refer to the technical memorandum for people who, in other words, we do like we were thinking of doing for the earlier thing, that we
Okay.
state what, at the beginning, what Steve was just saying, as we've looked at this, or it was looked at before. It may be something that the details of this can be seen in technical memorandum such and such, and leave it at that.
Because, I mean, the title is Evaluation of Potential Watershed Modifications for Increased Nitrogen Attenuation. That's what the title of this section is.
I'm going to, if I can, Mr. Chair, I'm going to jump in here again.
Please.
We are putting together a document to deliver to the state, which is a draft to them, indicating what we've looked at, we've thought about, and what the town is considering doing both now and in the future. We could be here till the wee hours of the morning, trying to rewrite this entire thing. I don't think there's any harm in what's in here, because we're not doing anything with it for 20 years. It gives an indication that we thought about it at one time, and that there's some value to the, I suggest there's more
I got it.
ultimate value for the town to use it to try to maintain natural areas in the upper portions than taking it out and having it being obscured.
All right, process-wise, we're on page 4-12. Do I hear any proposed amendments for 4-12?
Other than the one we've already done.
Right, proposed amendments.
Okay.
Okay.
Nope.
Page 4-13, any amendments?
Well, Wayne had a motion.
I
Well,
haven't heard it from Win. Win, do you have a motion?
I will withdraw that motion because I can see what
Okay.
Steve is saying. I will
It
withdraw the
wasn't, it
motion.
wasn't seconded, so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it.
that's right.
4-14. 4-15. Now we're moving on to nitrates, wetland reactors. This is stuff even this committee's never thought of, and the last committee didn't even talk about. 4-16. Okay. 4-17.
We already handled that.
Here, we've handled that, right. 4-18,
Let's see, 18, I think I mean.
pond openings.
Just a minute. Okay, again, we have the focus of the total nitrogen picture in this table for 4-3 as concerning septic load. Again, that's what it is, but
Okay.
the.
Do you have a motion for us?
Yes, I'd like to, my motion is to eliminate this table.
Can I make a suggestion, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
One, I mean, this table again reflects what's in the 2006 report. We could put a paragraph to say, it should be noted that these percentages refer to wastewater nitrogen, and there could be other allocations, you know.
Well, his motion is just to take it out.
Well,
Is that what I've heard?
Well, I'm just, yeah, you put me, here, I hadn't thought about how to restructure this whole thing.
Well,
But I think what
we
Jim-
just
but-
assume we not be restructuring the whole thing.
Right, I
We've
know
all
that-
had a week to work on this.
I know exactly, well, right, but I would suggest, I think that what Jerry's suggesting is a good thing to add.
Oh.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to, if you'll afford me the opportunity to jump in one more time.
Yes.
A lot of times, it's necessary to have, for lack of anything else, something to compare against. You measure the coliform bacteria in the water quite often. That doesn't tell you what's really in the water that's going to hurt you. It's just an indicator organism that you count the number of. Throughout this entire process, from the point of which our good friends over at UMass developed their tables and their graphs and everything else, they have used as at least their benchmark indicator of where the scope and scale of the problem is and what relative benefits you can get by different things, if you will, the concept of septic load. This committee, this town is very committed to a lot of alternatives, and to every time we see the word septic, have to take it apart and wrestle with it, is becoming torturous and exhausting to me. And I would beg that we can just leave it in there as an indicator value, not as the final determination of what we're doing.
Okay. Is there a motion before us?
Yes, my motion is to eliminate this paragraph and to...
Which paragraph?
This, pardon me, the table 4.3.
Yep.
And to replace it with a statement that says, and also at the beginning of the next sentence, and we'd start this next sentence with the need, basically that the total nitrogen that needs to be attenuated is 13.7 kilograms nitrogen per day, and that, and then and then basically that the let's see, I'm trying to get through this quickly. I mean, and therefore the inlet modifications can contribute to reducing the 13.7 kilograms nitrogen per day.
Is there a second? No second. Anything else on page 4-18? 4-19. 4-20. 4-21. 4-22. 4-23. Section 5. About time for the cookies, Virginia?
It's actually cashews.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, what do you think about a 5-minute break, just to stand up and walk around for a minute?
Yeah.
But I also have an idea for you.
Okay, well, let's hold the idea till after the 5-minute break, because people have been sitting here for 3 hours straight, and we need a little breathing spell. 5 minutes, we'll be back to deal with the last couple of sections, but we need to take bathroom breaks and move around. You're welcome to the cookies, by the way.
High energy
Oh,
cashews.
anyone who stays through this should have something for it.
Holding out for beer now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. They're very
Hold
good.
that for beer.
Yeah, just be like an auction. Just say, forget it. You say, does anybody have any corrections to section 5? If you get a response, then you go page by page. But if you don't get a response, you go to section 6.
We'll try that.
I spent about an hour trying to decide whether I thought section 5
Was worth reading.
misleading or worth reading or anything, and I finally decided that for what it was okay, we could leave it in.
I just feel the trouble with this is, it's not accurately technical enough to be technical. But it's way too detailed for the casual reader. So why are we doing it? It's bizarre. It's not describing, we're not holding ourselves.
Well, section 5 is entirely independent.
In terms of the whole purpose of the CWP is that it's a loan application for a building permit.
It doesn't have to do with the track changes. You can do it
So it's, you turn the plans for your house and said, sometime 20 years from now, maybe I'll have some cows grazing in my backyard, but not now, so don't talk about it for my permits.
You can see why people have concluded after looking at this that we haven't changed anything. And we're still going for full sewering because they can't. They see something like this.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's my point, is that we've got all these other things which are amazing, and yet everything is referenced to sewering.
Well, it's not, when you look at it more carefully, it's not, but...
No, I'm saying, it keeps shifting back to that,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's in transition.
Yeah, because we've got
And
stuck
we haven't
with
gone
it,
far
yeah.
enough yet with it. It's difficult. His task was unbelievably hard. Because to take an old document, to take all the stuff in there, and then to really philosophically and perceptually get it right.
I mean, this particular one, nothing in it is, it's all clear reference to traditional wastewater management. It's all of it. It makes it clear this is talking about traditional wastewater management. That's fine. But to have it 35 pages long,
Right,
some of the others only 2 pages.
and I are trying to figure out, the best way that we can
Sends a message.
make sure that we caught it.
Right. And it seems to me a lot of that could be, this is what was done in the previous. Go back and read the evaluations that were done, and we still stick with those evaluations. We haven't changed our opinion about that.
Right.
If you're talking about sewers, this is what we get it out of it. And that makes it easier to read what the thing we change.
Yep.
But,
Because it's hard, it's like, I was up until whatever hour reading this thing, and I got confused. I get confused, and then there's still some things in there that we're coming to that are, we probably probably won't go anywhere, but.
Yes, this is a good.
I didn't even get to this, the second one. I didn't even get to it. It contains most of these. Right, yeah, that's fine.
Here's this one, look at the last one.
Thanks, our audience gets some.
That's the one that scares me half to death. This, this no. Which one is this one?
Nobody's going to redo all those.
Just dangerous, you can even know,
Everybody might not put up. Here's
Here's the plan I had a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right, but that, the whole point of that is that in here we're going to do things which will seem unnecessary. No, they said 100%, whatever it was something about.
And that's been the. There's still some way of expressing the fact that if you have.
I just want to give you this.
Oh, I've heard about these.
Absolutely fascinating presentation we had last week on it.
I've heard about these.
The guy was very good. He was a very good presenter. He did a really good job of presenting. And he obviously has a good product that's going all over the place.
Amazing.
I think I'm going to write a little thing that doesn't have anything to do with the Water Quality Management Committee at this particular
But just
point.
this, yeah.
But that,
Yeah, it's a good one.
that we ought to be thinking about that for management of solid waste.
Right.
We ought to be asking ourselves whether we should whether we should spend the $100,000 to put one of those in and start using it
Yeah.
for solid waste.
If they work.
Well, they have 180 installed in this country, used on farms. And
Yeah.
the state of Virginia is setting up a system right this minute to put its roadkill in.
Interesting.
Puts the roadkill in,
Interesting.
rotates it, 2 weeks later, they come out as compost.
Interesting.
There's a guy in the Midwest who has pigs on his farm.
Yeah.
Pigs die.
Yeah. So they put them in this thing?
He puts them in, 600-pound pigs he puts in there. 2 or 3 weeks later, it comes out as compost.
Wow.
I mean,
That's amazing.
if he's right, if he's true.
Sure. All right, let's get going.
Then it should be your.
No, it hasn't
All right.
been permitted. It's only- It hasn't been permitted. They have a county
Yeah,
law, 180 systems are-
Let's get back to work.
I was fascinated.
Yeah, help yourself.
He says he's written.
You got something, right?
No,
Okay. This next one's gonna
He's got to
stink.
need some, he's got to have somebody in Massachusetts who wants to do it. We are the big agricultural area.
All right, are we all back? We are. Nate, maybe you could tell us briefly what Section 5 is and is intended to do, and how much of it is,
Section 5 or Chapter 5?
Chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
Is this something that we need to go through in great detail, or any detail, or what is it?
This is a history of all of the evaluations of the traditional wastewater management methods, starting off with what had been proposed and approved as part of the environmental notification form, the first three scenarios, and then how those three scenarios changed into additional scenarios, and then how there was one scenario, the high-tech one, which was reuse and recharge the treated water, was brought forward, and then was reviewed by the CWMP Review Committee, and then the various scenarios, and it really goes through the history and the costs that were developed at different times. Costs are superseded.
It's an evolution of the thinking process.
All right.
And that's really what it is, yeah, it's evolution, and it brings us right up through to, the evaluation to identify the capital costs for sewering of the Little Pond watershed area. I think that's the last section.
It's fair to say that about 90% of it consists of studies that we aren't pursuing?
It documents the cost for the Little Pond.
No, I remember that piece, but everything, a lot of the rest of it appears to be options that have been discarded.
Now it's got, the background and the basis for the groundwater modeling for Site 7 and 10.
Yeah, okay.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I think it gives
Yeah.
the
Okay.
state
Yeah.
and others
Yep.
the fact that we've done a hell of a lot of work.
Right.
We've done an exhaustive amount of work.
Yep.
And if you're interested in it, read it.
Fair enough. Okay. Page 5-1.
I have something on that.
Ron.
Just, thanks. Sorry. Sorry, it's on this page.
Yeah, this seems to be mostly about what they did in 2009.
Right,
Which-
that's right, yeah.
Page 5-2.
Mr. Chairman, what about that idea?
Yes.
Seeing if there are any
Oh, good point.
suggestions for
Good point.
any
We
of
can-
the 5.
Steve wants us to try something, which is to say, if anybody has any comment on anything in Section 5, let us know, because if nobody does,
Okay,
we'll
you have
skip.
one.
I have one. I
Okay,
have one
here we go.
comment. It's a factual, it's on 5.4,
5.4.
page 5.4, and it's 5.2.2.3, recharge facilities at Falmouth Country Club site. Nate, the very last sentence, additional recharge facilities were considered at other locations at and under the golf course. The rest of that sentence was not correct, and Peter Boyer sent you an email
What page?
eons ago.
You're on page
that said that.
What page you on?
5-4,
Okay.
5.2.2.
and then
Three.
section
Reach.
5223.
Got it.
Okay. The very last phrase, but conservation restrictions did not allow use of other areas.
I don't see that.
I don't see that.
I don't see
At the end
that.
of the first paragraph.
First
Yes, oh, yeah, yeah.
paragraph?
Yep, first
First
paragraph.
paragraph of 5223.
The first paragraph of that, okay.
When in fact, the conservation restriction at the golf course specifically allowed for subsurface sand filter beds, subsurface discharge. So this needs to be corrected because it seems to be a persistent misunderstanding. So additional recharge facilities were considered at other locations at and under the golf course.
Period.
And then there's
Period.
no, yeah.
Period. Period.
Right.
Okay.
The rest of that is not true.
Okay. Everybody agreeable to that?
Yes.
Remove that last piece there?
Moved.
Moved. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Goodbye.
Are you removing the whole rest of the section, or just that half?
That
No,
last-
just
That last
phrase.
line,
But conservation restrictions, blah, blah, blah. That's not a true statement,
I have an additional suggestion for that same subsection.
okay?
It's nitpicking, but it will keep people from laughing at us, I think. The third paragraph in 5.2.2.3, about two-thirds of the way through, it says, also these facilities could only be used during the summer growing months and not at times when people were out playing golf. I submit it would be a little less funny if it was but not at times when people were out playing golf. Maybe other people don't see the humor in that. I mean,
Well, and is always
the
a better
golf
thing,
time and the
yeah.
growing season are the same.
People play golf in January.
But the point of this is to...
Move.
Yeah,
Put a
do it-
butt,
do it-
put
do
a
it.
butt, we'll put a butt. Move to put a butt in there.
I move that the and be changed to a but.
But
second? I don't hear any seconds. Do I hear a second?
Okay.
Failing? Move on. 5-4, anything else?
Are we doing it that way, or are we doing it the other way? Okay.
Well, the other way was anybody who had anything in section 5 can bring it up. So that,
Okay.
if that's the will of the
That's it
committee,
for-
I'll be happy to
unless That's it for section 5.
go that way.
For you, not for me.
Okay.
Oh,
we have no
Anybody who has anything in section 5?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, on 5.2.1, we're talking about these alternative systems, and there's mention of gravity sewers in this section, and also grinder pump systems.
Where?
Right.
What page?
5-3.
5-3. So I'm wondering whether, maybe it wasn't the case that the vacuum systems and the effluent sewers were not considered, or
I think they were ruled out at that time.
at that time they were ruled out. But they were considered and ruled out at that time.
They had been ruled out at that time, yeah.
Okay,
This-
so,
This is a statement of fact. Evaluations to prepare the 2009 preliminary draft CWMP document included these things.
right, but you evaluated them, but you didn't include them. Is that what you're saying?
They were evaluated, and by the course of the evaluation, they were taken out.
Right. But we should probably say that they were evaluated.
Okay,
And
this,
take it.
this whole page is summarizing evaluations that
Yeah.
were done as part of the 2009 preliminary draft reports.
Right.
And so those evaluations, this summary is identifying that there was a conceptual design that was done in such and such a way
In cost development.
in cost development.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't cost out those other systems.
Okay.
Okay, cost?
Is there,
Is there a motion?
yeah,
Well,
okay. Is there a motion?
My motion is to include language saying that, just to make sure we cover all the bases. You say we covered all the bases at that time, and we came up with 2 out of 4, for example, or maybe we evaluated 6, I don't know how many.
Right. We're stating that what was done at that time, and I think, I do think that there is some information that's missing in this chapter towards the end, particularly when we provide the cost for Little Pond sewer shed or sewer watershed area, in that we kind of repeat the same text, because we say.
Yes, we do.
Costs were based on this sewer
All right.
cap model. And it is true fact. Subsequently, there's been a workshop that's been done where collection system vendors came in and
Yeah,
the
we
town.
were there. Okay. But
Chairman, Mr. Chair.
I don't hear any motions.
Right.
In the absence of a motion, we're going to.
I made a motion.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe you didn't get
It
seconded.
turned it into a conversation
Oh.
at some point, but the motion was,
My motion was to say what systems were evaluated that weren't included.
okay.
Just to say they were evaluated and weren't included.
Okay, that's been the motion. Is there a second to that? There is.
Okay.
5. Okay, anything else in section 5?
I have 5.4.8.
This is the page or the
And
section?
that's the section.
5.4.8 on page.
What page, Ron?
It was pages 5-2, let's see, the page, this is a very long section, so I'm trying to figure out. This has to do with the Site 7 and Site 10 as discharge areas. And it says on page 5-27, phosphorus line could be an issue for restart of these sites.
That third bullet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, right,
let's
right.
get everyone on the page.
Okay, page 5-27.
527.
Right.
Okay.
And
Which paragraph?
It's a paragraph, it stands by itself, it says phosphorus loading could be an issue
All
for
right.
recharge at these sites.
About 3/4 of the way down the page.
Yeah, so, it doesn't, so that refers to Site 2B and Site 4.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
Look at the first sentence, the introductory
Oh, yeah,
sentence,
yeah.
right?
All
Okay.
right.
When they talk about 7, they talk about phosphorus in that paragraph, too.
What's the motion?
Yeah,
Yes,
what's the
The
motion?
well, the motion is that, that phosphorus loading could also be a problem at 7 and 10.
Well, if you read the paragraph about 7 and 10, the last sentence says that.
Page 5-26, third bullet down,
Last
last
sentence.
sentence.
Phosphorus removal needs.
Oh, I
to be-
see. Okay,
So
all right,
you-
sorry.
so you
I
covered-
I
you're good.
missed that, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're fine. Anything else in section 5?
5.2.3.4.1.
Which page?
On page,
I'm looking for the page, I don't know what page it is. It has to do with ocean alcohol.
5,
Going backwards.
right.
Yeah, sorry.
I know.
Right, okay, sorry, I'm going backwards.
I know,
yeah.
we've
Sorry,
seen it.
just
Page 5-9.
Page 5.9.
5.9.
This is-
Outfall, yeah.
Okay, I've raised this before. Beginning of the second paragraph, it says, "Surface infiltration basins, although widely used in Massachusetts, have a number of drawbacks. In Falmouth, the ability of public use land for discharge is very limited, and more importantly, the possible sites that have been identified all have the disadvantage that they are upgradient of coastal ponds." That means that all these sites, 7 and 10, or
Yeah.
whatever else we're looking at.
Well, it's inaccurate. They don't all have the advantage of being upgraded.
Well, they might, we don't know.
Well, he says they do. and
I know, right.
The
Right,
answer,
right.
the answer is they may have the disadvantage of that.
Right, right.
So you want to throw May in there?
I move, I'll do that.
Do we have a second?
I'll move to make all say may.
Okay.
Okay,
Identified
may
may
have.
all have.
Okay. Just-
right.
What line are we on?
Page
Line 3 of
5-9.
paragraph.
5-9.
The third line, middle of the third line in the second paragraph, all may have.
The paragraph
You
starts
want
with
to change the
surface
word all to the word
infiltration
may.
basins.
Because you don't want to limit yourself to the fact that it's either
Okay.
all or none.
Okay.
It might be some of them.
That's been made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Good. Okay.
The other, again, there's, let's see, a couple other things. These are just points. I'm just, these Falmouth Country Club sites, this is section 5.2.2.3, I don't know what page it's on.
5.2.2.3. Okay, we're going backwards a little
Sorry,
bit.
I'm going backwards to a different section of my note. Sorry.
That's all right. 5.2.2.3 is on page
Yes.
5-4.
Okay. Are those sites still, we've just talked about this, but are these sites still possible discharge sites?
Yep.
Sure.
They are,
Yep.
okay. So they are in the future sometime,
Yep.
but not, okay. And then, the other one is on 5.2.3.3, and this is on page, this has to do with contaminants of emerging concern and And 5 point, and whether, it's more of a question because it's not discussed in here, but you're talking about total organic carbon and doing different, using those systems to control CECs. And I'm just wondering, does spray irrigation do that kind of thing?
Is there a motion?
Yeah, to be fair, at 10:45, that's a good discussion, we probably should have another day. Unless it's a motion before us.
Okay. All right, it's a question. It's not a motion, then, it's just a question.
Right.
But I don't know, I mean, it might be something to look into as far as that section goes.
Absolutely. Again, this section is just history of stuff they looked at.
Right.
And most of which they didn't pursue.
Okay.
And certainly we're not pursuing.
Okay, fine. All right, then I'm done with 5.
Anything else in 5?
I think if you can, on page 5-31,
Yep.
we get to the groundwater modeling for sites 7 and 10.
Right.
And there is, the second paragraph from the bottom says, "These recharges are not expected to cause exceedances of the nitrogen TMDL at the West Falmouth Harbor." What's not said at all is, and I'm starting to do a discussion. I guess my motion would be to add a sentence that says, "The impact associated with these sites to freshwater bodies will be evaluated."
That's a motion.
Okay?
I second it.
Second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Thank you.
Got it.
So that's coming right in after West Falmouth Harbor.
Right.
So the statement would be,
Sorry, what page are we on?
We're on page
Impact.
531.
The impact of these, the impact to freshwater bodies will be evaluated.
Which is true.
And you can modify that a little bit, Nate, because I don't have the particle tracks in front of me.
Is it will or may? Is this going to come out of the environmental review?
May is fine. May is fine.
May.
May is fine. I just want to be reflective that this committee's cognizant that there's something that needs to be checked.
But an environmental review will be done also of the nitrogen, right? For the whole.
Yeah, this is just a
impact.
statement, this is actually a statement of what the groundwater model is telling us.
Right.
And so I just wanted to have a statement that
Site
the
7,
groundwater model is
yeah.
indicating that there's a potential impact to the pond, that
Right.
there's a potential intersection of these ponds,
And we wanted to address.
and it may impact them.
Okay,
Yep, that's all.
that's good.
That's good.
Thank you.
We did that. Anything else in section 5?
Could be nitrogen too, but do we vote on that?
We did, didn't we? We voted on
We
that.
did.
We were very quick.
Sorry, it's late, you're right.
Um,
Section 6?
Okay, section 6. Oh, my gosh. Summary of environmental impact analysis.
Let's do
Some
the
of this
same thing we did
sounds,
with
it's word for word what we said before.
This is sort of like a checklist of things that you have to go through and look at. Is that why it's in here?
Yeah.
Rare and unique features of sites and environs.
yes, it's kind of a
Regulations.
cookbook approach to meet
Cookbook.
the regulations that are needed. So there are, I will draw your attention to page 6-17.
Is this where you talk about the impact to the Ice Age?
No, this has to do with the way that the evaluation of the discharge for some of these, for the downstream receptors. So I'll read it to you. The second paragraph on that page, treated water recharge at site 7 and 10 has been identified. Talks about Wing Pond, Herring Brook. Phosphorus loading to the pond is not believed to be a problem to the farm pond or Herring Brook. Treated water will be well oxygenated and will have little oxygen demand. So this gets into some of the discussions, and it's, the initial part of an environmental analysis. There are no TMDLs for these water
Right.
bodies. So there
Well,
is-
we're not going to debate this question of the validity of these. The
I
question
think it's
is-
good that you drew our attention to
No, I
this.
Right.
want to draw your attention, because this is what some of your comments and emails have tried to get at, and you didn't quite know where to find it.
Okay, so you put all your caveats about those two sites in here,
That's where they
Yeah.
belong.
This is the environmental.
which is where they belong.
Right.
It's where they belong.
Right.
Fine,
And-
okay.
And the second thing is, this is really for worst-case scenario, because it is the full sewering of Phase 1 and 2, and I don't think Falmouth is going to end up sewering, that's all the South Coast peninsulas. So it's projected on the basis of an enormous amount of wastewater, which is not likely to be there.
Wait, is it worth,
So I think you're good to point this out to us.
Also, it is likely that the regulators will want to have more evaluations.
Sure.
well, there's no question about
Know
it.
about
So
that.
And, I mean,
We know that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
how
but
about-
thank you for saying that.
Okay, does anybody want to modify this in any way, as long as we're here? No? Okay. Anything else in section 6?
Yeah, I have something on 6-37.
6-37.
What, 6-37?
Yep.
If we look at this section.
What
at the-
page?
6-37.
37.
Oh, I was looking for a section.
Sorry, no, sorry. Yeah, I know, I was giving sections before, but I already pre-looked it up to see. Okay, this time. And so, I should put the page number down too. But in this one, there are just a couple of statements in here that I find a little worrisome in terms of how this is all going to be looked at. This section concerns the pond model scenarios for, Phase 1, Phase 2 sewer areas. We look at the observations for Little Pond. The last line, sewering of Phase 1 and 2 area of Little Pond watershed is not expected to meet the nitrogen TMDL. Now,
Where are you?
Where? Oh, down
Under-
in the bullets.
yeah,
In the
bullets, yeah, observations for Little Pond. And then then they get the same thing for Great Pond and Bourne's Pond. Now, Phase 1 and Phase 2, we're talking like 30 years or something, right, before we get those done? And we're still not going to be there.
Correct.
Can that be right?
The
Yeah.
answer is very simple. You're only looking at the lower portion of all the watersheds. And from their comprehensive point of view, it's the upper watersheds are involved as well. So that's why they're making.
But are we questioning the factual nature and we want to change the document?
No, I'm just trying to say that if I read this as and I sat back and said, wow, we're going to invest all this money and we're going to come up with something that's going to come up short, is that correct? Because in reading the MEP reports, we've got the percentages here. You take out 100% from the lower watershed of Little Pond and 60% from the upper watershed, and we hit the TMDL. That's what it says in the report. Here it says we won't.
Just figure 5.
The upper watershed is Phase 3. It's not.
No,
in
I
Phase
mean,
2.
well, I'm talking about the Phase 2. It's the Phase 1 and Phase 2 areas.
I think you have a misconception.
Where's
But
that figure?
anyway, it says here that
Figure
after
is-
all this
yes,
investment,
dash 2.
we're not going to reach the
Yes.
Well,
TMDL.
this is a line that we
Because
have
fact-
to address if there's a,
It's not an issue. I'm not challenging it. I'm just saying, wow, that's all.
wow, yeah, that's a big wow.
Yeah,
It's a wow.
it's a lot of money, and we're still not going to be there.
But keep in mind that when we wanted to be able to make a more positive statement, it was going to be $800 million, or whatever the original, now I forget that.
600.
There were a lot of hundreds.
Right, but.
Okay, so we've got a different plan we're putting forth, and we're being honest about what happens when we get done.
This is fine. I don't have, I just feel that this is factual and it's good, okay? It's just that, how can you expect people to invest that much toward not quite getting there? Is there a way? We've been talking about a lot of things here. Inlet widening, we've been talking about a lot of stuff. And with the oysters, maybe, with PRBs, whatever these things are, eco toilets, if we can that be, that's one of the questions I've been raising, is that I don't see those things quite fully woven into this document yet. And that's my concern, is that that can get us over the top. Those things may get us to where we want to be.
Yeah, I can address that.
Yeah,
This is reporting on the water quality modeling that's been done by SMAS.
right,
And the water quality modeling was set up to remove the wastewater nitrogen. So it is all focused on wastewater nitrogen.
right.
None of there wasn't any modeling done that was done to model the effects of intensive aquaculture.
Well, actually, yes, you're right. But the thing is that when you actually talk to Brian Howes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you talk with him
So
about
I think-
this,
I guess the answer to you is that when the committee orders that water quality modeling of the aquaculture and the stormwater and the inlet modeling, then you'll see the effects of it.
And the
that-
stormwater.
And that is something that has been recommended and even scoped, but the work hasn't been done yet because you haven't directed us to go forward with it.
okay, that's fine, but we need to somehow not leave this lingering like this. We have to say something that says,
And
we're
at the-
exploring ways to meet those things,
At the end of the
because,
section,
Yeah.
it talks about potential, page 6-39, potential future modeling to investigate non-traditional wastewater and nitrogen management methods for the South Coast estuaries. So that's where it tells you how you can use this magnificent modeling tool,
Yeah.
whether you believe it or not, you know,
Yeah, right, yeah,
to do
sure.
this. And all you need to do is to know what sort of assumptions of what sort of removals you can expect to get from shellfish. And you can then input it into the model, and you can see the performance that technology would do.
I mean, in
No, go ahead.
in the Bourne MEP report, Bourne's Pond, rather, it states that sewer Phase 1, Phase 2, or no, it was Phase 1, Phase 2, and then widen the inlet, and you're there, okay, basically. And that's kind of the thing that I would, somehow, we need to bring that out, that we're going to get there.
Yep, and this tells
This says that,
anybody who reads it that those are going to be water quality modeling evaluations that are going to be done in the future.
okay,
Make a suggestion, we say storing of phase 1 and 2 of the lagoon is not expected to meet the nitrogen TMDO unless additional nitrogen removal mechanisms are developed. That's what you're saying, right?
well, something like that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to leave it
Yeah.
hanging there like,
Yeah.
So sewering alone is not
Is that
going to do it, is
sewering
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Other things have to be.
That's right, sewing
Okay.
along with the little.
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine why it wouldn't, but.
Because it's
I know.
only-
I agree, and,
I know.
you know, I'm not absolutely convinced that actually,
Yeah.
it actually will be much better than this
Yeah.
model predicts, but for a variety of reasons
Right.
that we've.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Steve.
Ron, are you sure you're making the distinction between the hypothetical and what would actually be done? It's saying, for instance, sewering in the Phase 1 and 2 area of Little Pond won't work.
It's actually the lower
It's
one.
not saying, and therefore we're going to do it and laugh, it just says it won't work, and so presumably, a reasonable person would conclude we'll do something else, or that plus something else.
Yeah, but this is a lot of money. I mean, this is a huge investment.
No,
Without
but
the
it's not
full
even saying that
picture.
we're going to do
No,
it.
it's not without the full picture.
Yeah.
What you're saying is it doesn't get you to perfect, and perfect is equal to meeting the TMDL. I think that Jerry's
I think it's
suggestion
good,
was,
yeah.
unless there are additional efforts such as
Right.
inlet widening, agriculture, and so on. Or you could say, see section 6634 for
Yeah.
other possibilities.
And to be fair, that's been the premise of this committee all along, that we would provide a cocktail of
Right.
attacks that
Right.
we were going to find out which worked well and apply them as many places as they worked well. And one of them is sewering, and one of them is every other thing we've been looking at.
Right, I just got, I just feel like this is,
Did
I
we
think that
correct
this
it now?
sentence is a
Okay,
little
so
something, yeah.
with his amendment of,
Yeah, yeah,
unless.
It's not my amendment, so.
No, no,
It's-
I make
it's
a
his
motion,
amendment.
I make a motion that the language that,
All right.
our
Unless
superintendent-
some additional efforts are made, or
Right.
nitrogen removal is,
But unless additional nitrogen sources are removed.
that's fine.
Fine.
Yeah,
And should that be for Great Pond and Little Pond?
Great Pond, Little Pond, and Bourne's Pond. Green Pond, it'll work out.
Yeah, it just so happened, and that's only because you don't have to sewer north of 28.
Because they have no pond.
And
to-
that's
to-
because it has this natural pond
Right.
that's processing all this nitrogen.
Okay,
You're
so
not gonna
we have that
remove any
language.
sources.
It's Ron's motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, it's
Well,
not,
it's a nitpicking thing of the
But
words.
it's not
You don't-
nitrogen.
You don't remove sources.
Okay.
You do something about them. You
Okay,
remove the
let's-
nitrogen.
Let's get the
from
phrase right here.
all right.
What-
Unless some
Nitrogen
additional nitrogen management
reduction.
tools,
Like techniques.
techniques? Okay. additional-
Nitrogen attenuation,
Nate has it.
okay.
It's nitrogen reduction techniques.
Okay.
Okay, can someone read that one back to us in the form of a motion from Ron?
Unless some additional nitrogen reduction techniques are
Implemented.
and are implemented.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, got it. Now,
I have one more in
oh,
six.
one more in section 6.
I don't know if it's in the right, it won't be in the right order because I did this. This is on, 6.6.12 on page 6-27. I think, what is
Impacts on infrastructure?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's page 27, 627.
Well, there was some discussion in here about, I'm not sure if this got the right section listed here, but there was some discussion here about Route 6A.
That's right.
Yeah, I was wondering about
And I
that.
was trying to figure out why we're even
See-
talking about
Yeah,
that.
That
No
sea
good
level
reason.
rise represent, the report that they were talking about.
They're in big trouble up there, was the point of it. But what do we
No,
care?
that's fine. but-
It's not our town. Yeah, I did see that.
It's in the middle of, near the end of, in July 2011, go halfway down.
What page are you on?
628 wastewater
628.
systems.
628, wastewater systems.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Sandy Neck.
Right. So, I mean, we can say, okay, that part of the Cape will be affected, but we won't be or something, but maybe this
Well,
isn't
This
necessary.
is quoting from a report, and the report happened to be about Route 6A. So,
Yes, according to the September 2011 Massachusetts Climate Change Adaptation Report, blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
that's.
Quite honestly, we don't know what's going to happen in the Cape. need
We
studies.
understand that, but the question is whether this language, it needs
Makes
to be
any sense.
adjusted. And if it's a report that we're quoting, it doesn't need to be adjusted.
right.
Well,
Take
I
it
don't
out.
see the language.
We-
627.
I haven't heard any motions to
Page
deal with it. so
628.
I
Oh,
think we should leave it
628,
at
okay.
Just leave it in?
It's
It's a big paragraph.
Right.
Okay, all right, it's
Yeah.
fine. I
Oh,
just
wastewater, okay.
find it,
Yes.
we can talk about, sea level rise in Tahiti, I guess.
No, that's too far away.
Now, on page 6-30, I have a question, which is, what does a zip code have to do with energy consumption at a wastewater treatment plant?
What is a zip code?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
That-
probably a table of electric rates based on zip code or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's an
6:30.
input to this model.
Well, I understand, but the electric rates are different in different zip codes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're like in California, put in a California zip code, you get a different, this is an
It's
EPA
not
model.
based, it doesn't change
It's an
it roughly,
it's-
but
it's
it's
an
like
EPA
income
tool.
as a
You learn
function.
something every day.
It's an EPA tool,
okay.
yeah.
Right,
You-
I have something in the same set, well, no, next.
It's very cheap up by Buffalo, New York, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know why.
So it doesn't matter if it's in West Falmouth or East Falmouth.
I don't think it makes a difference, but it does.
But it's just the way it's tabulated.
Okay.
I don't know, if you're up in West Falmouth, you're getting the free power off the turbines.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
Okay, move on. All right. I'm sorry I brought it up.
He's getting a little twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, we
All
don't
right.
talk about turbines. Okay.
6:31.
6:31.
Yeah, 6:31, there's a statement here that due to expected restrictions to the turbines' operations in this analysis, the bottom of the page, it's talking about the turbines,
Oh, yeah.
and due to expected restrictions to the turbines' operations in this analysis, do we expect restrictions long-term, or do we don't know?
We have no clue.
Right.
Clue.
The analysis is based on 50%, which we're actually
Yeah.
doing now.
They made an assumption.
We made an assumption, yeah, we had to make an assumption.
Right.
And we did, and is it reasonable that the two of them will run?
It's fine. It's
Right.
a number.
All right, it's just.
All right.
An assumption.
Anything else in section 6?
Yeah, 6.6. Oh, no, this is nothing,
I get a
okay.
question.
Yeah.
I know that Matt was quite interested in all of this, and I just haven't heard any comments from Matt about it.
Well, he couldn't come tonight because the group he works for was having a board meeting, and he had the opportunity to comment like everybody else, and if you...
Yeah, right. I sent him my comments, and he agreed with what I was saying about the preamble.
Yeah.
He made no other comments to me, so,
I was thinking of Matt quite a bit.
Yes.
Through all this work.
Yes.
Because I wanted to
right,
try
well,
to address his concerns.
I have a couple more points in this section. And,
6?
Section 6.
Yeah, section 6. On energy efficiency, which is 6.6.2.4.
What page?
I don't know, I'm trying to find
Okay,
it.
say it again, 6624?
the GHG
Page
emissions?
Yeah,
page
this- yeah,
6-32.
this is just something, should we have something in here that states that we will be incorporating to the degree possible as energy efficient equipment as we can?
Yeah, and that's, I believe it's in there already.
It is? Okay.
I think the state requires us almost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an evaluation.
There's
Okay.
a typo while you're there.
Where is that?
6.6.2.4, second paragraph, they completed an energy audit, not and.
Right you are.
Yeah, I saw that too, but I figured it was too little.
Oh, nothing's too little for this group.
Apparently. I yield to the other end of the table.
You wouldn't let me correct my grammar, so.
Okay, moving right along.
Anything else in section 6? West Falmouth Harbor modeling scenarios. Okay, we're enough of that. Oh, speaking of little, page 6-36, we've spelled Chappaquiddick wrong.
No way, come on,
Where?
it's so easy.
It doesn't have 2 Ps in the chart.
Table 6.6, huh?
Yeah, table 6-6,
I always thought
Chappaquiddick.
there was a Y in Chappie.
Okay.
There is a Y in Chappie.
Chappaquiddick.
All right. What else we got? Anything in 6? Anything else in 6?
We're done.
1.7.
7 will look a lot like something we've seen before.
I was wondering, does it match up precisely with what we had before?
I think that's a good question, so that any change we made in the first then needs to be reflected in it.
So
7.3.8, you could tell it, the changes we made there need to
We'll
be.
get rolled up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same change will get rolled up.
right.
Uh,
There is one correction to table 7-2.
7-2.
Because the limit is 30 million, item 10, because the limit is 30 million for the SRF, we had 90 million town vote, 30-year bond, so on. And I failed to make the same correction in 16. SRF funded construction projects should say 90 million, not 100 million. So in the 2 places where this occurs, you need to make that small change.
Everybody got that one? Page 7-2, the paragraph that's up at the top that starts, "These improvements will be implemented in a modular approach if the sewer is extended beyond the Little Pond watershed."
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that one?
If instead of as, in the sentence that begins, "These improvements will be implemented in a modular approach."
If the sewer is extended.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not.
See where
Page 7-2,
Yeah, but
the second real paragraph.
Right under the words figure 7.2. These improvements?
Okay,
Above 7.1.2.2.
Higher up, Lee. Your fingers in the wrong place.
Okay. These improvements will be implemented on a modular approach
If.
if the sewer is extended, okay.
all right.
Slow it down. but-
Yeah, it's
We're nearly there.
It's past all of our bedtime, but 7-3 at the top, capital cost for, there seems to be a typo.
Or E, D.
Okay.
Anything of substance?
Yes, a couple things. One is the table 7-1 here has $44 million listed.
Yes.
And if you go back to page 5-35, you'll find 39 million for that system.
Plus 5 for,
No, what I'm saying is that there's, plus not
Yeah.
5, 3.3 or something for the recharge
Right.
facility.
It was 39
It was
million when you
30.
presented it to us. How did it get?
But he
there?
added
well,
the...
the adding the recharge facility.
Right.
The Site 7 development.
Oh, I
Right.
see.
And so for the contingency and the fiscal legal and engineering.
You can't have the one without the other.
Okay, fair
And so
enough.
these
No, it's
percentage
fair,
numbers
but I'm
are-
just saying that one
Yes,
says
okay.
39, one
And-
says 44.
And where's the, okay, and this is
5-35.
535.
It doesn't have that in there, but I'm
Probably
not
should.
sure what, I'm just noting an inconsistency. And you can just, somebody wants to make a motion?
No, that's a good
Make a
one.
motion.
Okay, let me explain it, because I don't
Gun
believe
check.
5-35 is where they're.
Right.
Yeah.
Last 26 million for cap, 20,
5-35 does not have the recharge facilities, correct?
That's
Right.
Okay, so.
and the
That's-
contingencies.
Okay,
is-
so it's-
The 26 million there at the bottom, of
Yep.
5-35,
Yep.
sums to a total construction of 26 million.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, and so you go to table 7-1, and the construction cost for collection system is 26 million.
No, we got that. He's just pointing out that
There's just a-
in the first instance, you don't list that extra cost that you do list in the second instance.
Right, but and so there's the 26 million, and then you add in the recharge, and then the
Yeah.
225% adders aren't the same for the
Right,
first time. So
right,
you
sure.
don't see the 39 million in the second table.
Nate,
No, of course not.
Nate,
We get
in the earlier table, would you, in the table that's in section 5, you go into this table, you start with 26?
Not table, paragraph.
I'm sorry, I
Page
did flip that.
535.
But the two tables should actually be the same. And they
Right.
should both sum to the 44 million.
There's no table there, though.
Oh,
The
No,
thing is that there.
You need to add a line or something that gets the extra money in. Both places, the number should come up to 44 million.
Well, the trouble is that page 5-35 isn't talking about the recharge facilities at that time. It's just talking about the capital costs for the sewer.
I remember that's how you came in and presented to us. I'm just suggesting that somehow or other in here,
You could put in a
You need to say,
parenthetical remark. Just say-
including the recharge facilities, including the recharge facilities which cost this, the total cost for doing this area, the treatment plant would be 44 million. That way, when you get to the recommended plan that's 44 million, there's a clear understanding that they've already read that number before.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Um,
And actually, what Ron was saying, I'm just trying to help
Yeah.
with the,
okay, I'm moving that note be added on page 5-35.
Second.
That references, including the recharge facility, the total capital cost estimate is 44 million.
Right. Moved and seconded, discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Okay, one more point on this is that when I went through the vacuum system figures that we got and added this 50% overhead, plus the recharge facilities.
This is a comment.
It's a comment. It came out to $19 million. And I don't know why, I mean, that's another, this is a fact. This is a new section. We're just seeing this for the first time. And if you take this report from Airback and use their costs, which don't include the overheads, the 25 and 25%, and don't include it comes out much lower. So I'm just wondering how we're selecting. To me, the 19 million looks like
we haven't.
a better deal.
We haven't. This is our recommended plan right now.
Right now.
We're hiring an engineer to go out and do evaluations.
Okay.
and they will fold
They will
this
figure
information.
this out. They'll
this-
figure
They will
it out.
refine that and
Right.
the other figure.
And you have to remember, this is a vendor
no, I know.
making his pitch.
Right.
With no cross-check or peer
Right,
review.
right, right.
Also, with,
Well, I mean,
he didn't have the basic
no one checked
information
this.
Right.
that you needed
Yes.
to make a
Well, they-
detailed number. anyway.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
come,
Yeah.
Yeah.
next
All right,
chapter.
All right,
Right.
then, wait, before I, on financing in 7.2.2,
Okay, yep,
that's on
page
page
7-4.
-4, and the whole planning process is based on the fact that we'll need no other money for any other capital needs in Falmouth over this period of time, right? All the debt that's retired will be turned into this project.
No,
No, I don't think that's true. Some of
No.
them, sorry.
Okay,
no,
that's not true.
well,
That's not true.
no, the town wouldn't allow it, and we're not proposing it.
I thought we were. I thought that as the debt was
Well,
retired, we
We're
would take.
saying
okay.
that window exists.
Right.
The window at this point in time was 5.2
Right.
million, the next window is 9 million, the
Right,
next
right,
window is
right,
20, and
right.
so on.
Right.
Doesn't say that we're going to eat it all.
To be fair, when the review committee put out a report, the premise was, it was a $300 million project,
Right,
and that we were going to start with doing 100 million of it,
yes.
and we would need the whole 9
We would.
million and the whole
Five.
window of opportunity to pay for that. Since that time, we have downscaled our proposal to less than half of that 100 million.
Well,
And so the whole window, we don't need the whole window for us alone, is which our current proposal.
so like the water treatment plant and all that stuff would be,
It
that's a
could be,
big
I
ticket
mean,
item. That's the thing I'm thinking about.
Everybody agrees,
Yep.
and there are other big ticket items that
Yeah,
unfunded needs. So that's a town dialogue that'll occur over this next year, and ultimately there'll be a sifting out with the selectmen and the town manager as to what gets allocated. So I'm just responding to your initial statement was, we're going to use the entire window. And this presentation this is what the window is, but we're not necessarily saying that we're going to use it all.
okay, because there's a schedule of town meeting votes and all this other
It
stuff.
has
that
to
are
be,
built in there.
everybody has
Right.
to know, because the
Right.
votes have to occur at that
Right.
time.
Right,
But
but it
who
could
gets
be
how-
for less money.
Who gets how
Is
much
that
in each
the
window is up to the town meeting and the voters.
I see.
We get what we can, in other words.
We'll ask for what we think this
Well-
piece needs, and they'll ask for what they think that piece
Yes,
needs.
yeah.
We'll see where it goes. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
with
This
Um,
whole document is essentially a loan application and a building permit and a memo of understanding with DEP. It's a communication from the town of Falmouth to DEP.
Right.
Does honesty matter? I mean, functionally.
I'm glad the reporters are not here tonight.
I mean,
Of course, it's on television.
if I was a venture capitalist and somebody was presenting this to me as a business plan, and some of the wording implied that they were going to put in this sum of their X of their own money, and then it turned out they really weren't, I would be very turned off.
If you got a business plan like this, you'd be turned off.
True.
From the start.
But I mean, I don't know how the people, do the people at DEP just look at this as a game, or do they actually read it? You don't have to answer
They're
that
not
here.
watching television
read
at
it.
11:30 at night. But
Okay.
who knows? You've dealt with these folks. What happens?
They will review this, they'll see whether things pass a straight face test, and that's a term I hear them use quite often. And they will try to hold you accountable for as much as they can.
I mean, could this be construed as implying that we're counting on using all of this money?
I'm going to rephrase this slightly differently. If we said, gee, right now, we can't convince ourselves that anybody in the town will give us more than $50, and we said we're going to go forward with a plan that says it's based upon $50 now and $50 later, the DEP would say, you're going to have to go back and find that money, or we'll send a receiver in to take over the town and force you to do it. That's what they did in Boston Harbor. The judge said, enough is enough. I'll make you do this, or you'll straighten this out. Mr. Boyer spent an incredible amount of time and energy, and he's been on a committee since then, and we can argue forever about how strong the town's finances are or aren't. we're outlining what we think we need for money here. We're outlining an approach to go and try to ask the town for that money. And we need to stick to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, a reasonable statement might be that these amounts to carry out this plan are approximately half, or you pick the fraction,
Yeah.
of what is expected to be available, so it's it can't be predicted, but it's not unreasonable to think that we might get these funds.
Yeah,
The state doesn't care.
I think the state understands that we only spend what the town meeting gives us and what the voters approve.
Yeah.
Everything else is estimates.
Yeah. And I just want to say, the commentary that we wrote about the 9 million, just sticking with the next number, we said first off, approximately 9 million, so that's not a fixed number. A retiring debt can be reissued for design, permitting, and construction costs. And the committee anticipates this funding will be specifically designated to cover a number of defined projects. And I specifically left it that way, because if it turns out the water treatment plant, which is something else the DEP is required, turns out to be one of the defined projects, then it's going to be on the menu. We're covered.
Okay,
We're
thank you.
covered. Anything else in section 7, rather? 7, a lot of it's rehash from before.
Right, well, it should be word for word based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
everything, other than the fact that we made a few changes
Yeah.
back at the beginning.
Okay. Can the changes we made back at the beginning be incorporated into this, so we don't? Good,
Yes.
fine,
Said
okay,
that
good.
and they've agreed.
Fine, all right.
Okay,
Anything
so
else in
then
section 7?
we get to 7.4, which is the embayment monitoring. That's the part that sort of you wrote, right? It's not something we wrote.
Okay, what page?
7.8, 7-8.
Okay.
7?
And all I'm saying is we just need to check that, because that's not something we wrote.
I think that some of this is kind of specific, that still is to be worked out. Like the 5 sample events per summer season.
Okay. My guess is SMAS would think that's a very good schedule.
Well, it depends for the oysters, he has many more sampling times. And we may extend it actually through October, because of the growing season really going through that.
So this is the minimum.
Yeah. That's based on what we've seen in other towns. At the end of that section on 7-9.
Yep.
Right above 7.5 granular miling.
Right.
It says, as discussed in 7.3.5, the WQMC, da, 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 da. Read that.
Yes. Yep, that's good.
That's just to be tailored.
Could I suggest, Nate, if I would, that the line says the embayment monitoring program? Could you say the embayment monitoring program will be subject to DEP review and direction? As a reference point, the following requirements have been incorporated into a program being developed for Chatham as part of their discharge permit. So then you just give that as a reference of what Chatham's got, okay? And then your line at the end there works out perfectly. It says, as discussing that, we'll be developing our own plan. Okay? I think that's what you're trying to do. The embayment monitoring program, this thing that is expected to, you just say, you at least know this is what they've asked someplace else. So I'm suggesting we say the embayment monitoring program is subject to the DEP, concurrence of the DEP. As a point of reference, the following requirements have been developed for a program in Chatham as part of their discharge permit and are indicative of what might be included here. Something like that? Okay? I think that's consistent with what you're trying to do here. Say, these are the things that they've done someplace else, and we're likely to get the same things. And as you point out, Ron, there could be more that we would want or we'd
Right.
do.
Okay, we're good. Anything else in 7? I don't think we need to spend 1 minute on 8.
No,